right quarterback in there, you get the right play caller in there, you start winning some exciting football games. And hopefully some people start getting down to Snapdragon Stadium, enjoy that new stadium, and enjoy some good Aztec success.
If the Aztecs are, playing some good football, people will show up. I mean, that San Diego has proven that time and time again. If you're not going to be good and you're going to struggle, they'll find something else to do. But if you are going to put out a good product out there, as we see with the Padres on a pretty consistent basis, they'll show up.
Yeah,
they'll definitely show up.
I mean, the Padres had, this past year, even though it was a disappointing season, coming off the excitement of the National League Championship Series appearance 2 seasons ago, the Padres' attendance was record-breaking.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that they finished 82-80, had a record-setting year in attendance. So I think the fans of San Diego would love to support an exciting winning football team, and I think that's what Sean Lewis is going to do his best to bring to all of us. So good day all around. Skraby, you watched a lot of the press conference, and you, of course, are Mr. Negativity. I just am curious what your thoughts were on I'm sure you were waiting. I'm sure you were just waiting to pick him apart and find flaws in his delivery and some of his comments, but you told me you were pretty impressed.
Yeah,
actually.
if you could.
So if he's impressed you, then
watch out,
look out.
If you can win press conferences, he won the press conference today.
Yeah,
gotta say, he spoke with confidence. He spoke with authority. He talked about, what stood out to me is that he referenced Brady Hoke and Rocky Long multiple times, saying that they were the ones who have put this program to where it's at now. And when you come in and you realize why you're there, because he's there because of those two guys, most likely, that's pretty cool.
It's always a good start.
It's
right?
always a good
show
start.
some love to the predecessors before you, especially ones that you could you could make a great case, really got this program spun in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And so to show the respect to them, I think it's a big deal. It also shows he did some of his homework too. I mean, he didn't just take this job and become a head coach. He did some background work on that.
He did.
I think that's a positive sign as
and we always talk about, we don't always talk about it, but we wanted a new name in here. We wanted someone that we hadn't really been familiar with. We wanted someone that's going to change things a little bit. And he sounds, he's a different kind of coach for San Diego State. So I do think it's a good thing to have a new voice and a new, I can't say age, but
you can. He's 37.
Yeah, he is. He's younger than me.
You can say age. He won't be offended.
He has, and this is
and he's already far more successful.
Yeah, this is true. But he already has this, he's already hyper focused on what he wants to do. And when someone who has their mindset on something like that, I'm going to get behind.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, the buzz surrounding the San Diego Padres trading Juan Soto continues to get louder and louder and louder. Days go by, and articles continue to appear today on ESPN Plus. An article that many of you can't afford to buy, so I will read it for you.
We are talking about Juan Soto and the Padres, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Juan Soto,
make sure.
And the fact that he's probably not going to be a Padre for long. They brought up their top destinations for Juan Soto today. Let's see. David Schoenfeld thinks he's going to go to the Mariners. He says the Mariners should trade for Soto. They've been close the last couple of years. Pressure is on to improve in a significant way after seeing the Rangers leapfrog them last season. Seattle has the farm system to make a Soto trade. They have major league ready talent, top 100 prospects, and younger international players. Jerry Dipoto, Seattle's GM, San Diego's AJ Preller have been frequent trade partners, making this a possibility.
Who wrote that? Was Schoenfeld. This was part of the memo.
That was David Schoenfeld. Kylie McDaniel chimed in and said, no, it's got to be the evil empire, the New York Yankees. He said there are about a half a dozen teams you could make a case for, but there's only really one that makes perfect sense. Yankees are looking to make a splash, coming back from a horrid 2023. They have a lot of upgrades would hopefully accept if that trade is going to be made. looking at these two teams, I like what the Yankees have to offer. I don't really want prospects, even if they're the top prospects. I need somebody that I've at least seen play in Major League Baseball. And the Yankees had 2 or 3 guys that are young players, pitchers, outfielders. And, I've actually seen them and, late in the season. And I would be more excited about that if
So
it has to happen.
So you're saying that you like the Yankees?
I like the Yankees situation a little better.
I agree with that because a lot of their young prospects came up at the end of the year, and
right.
particularly Jason Dominguez was
he
electric.
He looks like he's going to be a great player. The Padres need a center fielder.
I've resigned to the fact that this is likely going to happen.
Yeah,
and I think it's necessary in some regards. You just hate to see a player of that caliber go, but
but there's no question.
There's enough holes that have to be filled that
for this to make sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it really does. If you can get yourself an outfielder, if you can get yourself a couple of starting pitchers, it's going to be pretty hard to pass that up. I mean, the Padres are just in that situation. Dominguez, for his part last year, hit 4 home runs, had 21 total bases and just 31 at-bats last year. So, that's only 31 at-bats, but what he showed in a quick flash there at the end seemed to back up the fact that this guy is going to be the next electric star. Hopefully the Padres think that same way. I just don't want to trade for a bunch of guys that are supposed to be good.
Right,
they really need to trade for guys that are good.
Like if you were taking the Seattle deal seriously, I would need to rate at least 3 of their 5 starters that they have.
Yeah, you got to get
rotation.
somebody from. You got to get a Kirby. You got to get a Logan Gilbert. You got to get. I don't think you can get Luis Castillo, but you've got to find somebody that's ready to step in and be in your rotation. If you're going to go to the Seattle route. If you're going to go to the Yankees, hopefully you get Dominguez. Michael King is a name that has been mentioned. This is a pretty good young pitcher for the Yankees who made 9 starts last year and had 6 saves. So he did a little bit of both. He was a bit, what do you call that? The old Swiss Army knife?
Swiss Army knife.
I called it a Swiss Army knife, which is nowhere near correct.
Just switching it up.
Yeah.
Anthony Volpe doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, the shortstop.
He doesn't
that
make
makes no sense. If you're going to get another shortstop,
we don't
need
any more infielders.
Please, yes, we've already got a glut there. But King, 104 innings last year, had a 1.15 ERA. Like I said, starting and relieving and doing whatever he could. I'm not saying these are just names that are being brought up.
Right,
we're talking about this as if that's the trade. Dominguez and King. For
I also think it's interesting
Soto,
because he's a rental. Juan Soto is, unless they work out some long-term deal before he gets traded, a team that's trading for him is only going to get the rest of the year control.
No team is trading for him right now unless they feel like they have a good shot.
And the Yankees are the team that would have certainly plenty of money to throw at him. I think Soto wants to be on that kind of stage. I just think he's that kind of a player, and it's okay. Go there as long as he can help the Padres fill a bunch of holes. We'll see if it ends up happening. But Tony said this earlier when we were in the back. He said, this trade looks like it's on the 10-yard line going in. And I said, yeah, but the Jets have the the So you never know if they'll ever get to the end zone.
But Zach Wilson's quarterbacking?
If Zach Wilson's quarterbacking, 10-yard line may not be close enough.
It's like the 50-yard line at this point. Then, so.
That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing for us.
It may not be as close as we think then. So.
Well, we'll talk more about that with Xavier Scruggs. He's going to join us in the 3 o'clock hour. Great baseball guy. And he's got insight into Mike Schilt, so you'll enjoy that interview. Kirk Kenny will join us in the 2 o'clock hour. We've got Rate the Radio Call making a Wednesday comeback a little bit later in the program. We will also check in on the Daily Gambit, Chris versus the fans, and the Big Five. But there's a new man on campus at San Diego State. We'll hear some of Sean Lewis's introductory press conference, what he had to say when we come back. Gwynn and Chris is underway. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy your Wednesday afternoon with us on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't have time to listen to an entire fan talk show? The Odyssey app's chaptering
2:19 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Skraby. 4 hours of fun. Of course, the Aztecs have a new head coach. The Padres could.
What?
Did I do something? I think I did something. I don't know what.
I don't know. I think I know what it is. We're going to have to.
Sorry.
I'm just sitting here.
Chris was having a full meal on the mic over there.
All right. I'm finishing off my bite of my pine bar. Sorry.
sorry.
Oh,
Tony
no.
Jr.
Now he's not going to be able to
I
talk.
was just about to be a smart you-know-what, and then he hit me with that, and I just couldn't keep it together there. The Aztecs have a new head coach on the football
Gotta eat,
field.
you know.
Yeah, man, I feel you. The Padres could be on the cusp of trading Juan Soto. We'll continue to hit on that throughout the 4 hours of this show. Tune in and to kick off with Boomer Esiason and Mike Valenti. Every week, Boomer and Valenti preview the entire slate of NFL games. Analysts from Boomer, picks from Mike, the biggest stories in the league packed into 1 hour. Friday nights at 6 p.m. here on 97.3 The Fan and always live on the free Odyssey app, presented nationally by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos, brought to you by those who drink it and love it, or love by Lowe's, Lowe's Home Improvement. I'm also a big Casamigos Tequila fan.
Oh, you like
I do.
Casamigos?
I'm
Never
on a
had
tequila
it.
kick here lately.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the holiday season.
Tequila like straight up or
Sometimes.
on the rocks?
Sometimes. No, not straight up. Usually on the rocks.
On the rocks, it's got to be. You got to cut into that harshness a little
You know,
bit.
but sometimes you just gotta
Sometimes
go
you
straight
just
for
swig
it.
it?
Yeah, man.
Really?
Right
little
from the
ice.
bottle.
No,
Right
not from the bottle.
Why not?
Because it needs to
It
be cold.
takes away a cup.
Yeah, it needs to be cold.
He likes it cold.
I need it cold. Goes down better.
I have different drinking tendencies.
Well, you don't have any drinking tendencies
Not anymore. Not
so
anymore.
There's that. Let's talk about the Aztecs introduction today with Sean Lewis. Yeah, he had some thoughts, particularly on SDSU.
This place and space that we have right here should be the best home field advantage, the best competitive environment in all of college football. This is an intimate venue to where our alum, our fan base, the Chargers fans who are looking for a team, we're your team. Come on board and come down here so that we can make this place, one of the best venues to be, and to where it's, our fans are going crazy when we're out on defense, and we can drive up the number of false starts, for the opponents, and then please be quiet while we're working so we can do our thing. But I do remember back in 2013, again, just, the quality of life, the sunshine, right, and the energy and enthusiasm, even though it was in a different venue, of, how passionate the fan base was, and the physical nature and the discipline that team was, that we went against. And again, those are things that as we move forward in this beautiful home, and as we, refine the brand just a touch, right, that'll still ring true, that we're going to be disciplined, we're going to be tough, we're going to be explosive, we're going to have a whole heck of a lot of fun, scoring a lot of points, shutting people out, and playing a fun and exciting brand of football. So again, get your tickets. Come on down here, and this is, exceeded all expectations. Google does not do this justice when you try and do the Google image search to see how wonderful this is.
Yeah, Google's never done a San Diego justice when it comes to pictures and things of that nature. But I tell you what, he has a football voice. Got that rasp that in there that I look for in a
He's got
football
a good
coach.
enthusiasm
He
about it,
does.
for sure.
He definitely does.
Yeah, he kind of brings you in,
Which
is
is
what we need.
which is exactly what we need. A lot of talk about the Aztecs and their offense and kind of being outdated. Well, Sean looks like he wants to light up the scoreboard.
A tremendous program, a tremendous community that has rich tradition going all the way back to Eric Coryell and what he was able to do and how he revolutionized the game of football and how we throw the football today because of his influence and his impact on the game. And I'm looking forward to bringing that excitement, that brand of football, where we're lighting up the scoreboard, where we're playing fast, where we're being balanced, but there is a brand and an energy to what we bring day in and day out, when our community and our university and our team thinks of Aztec football, right? And also with that, right, not to be to put an emphasis on offense rather than defense, because it is about being loyal to winning and playing strategically so that we can have complementary football.
Yeah, I mean, he made sure to let everybody know that this wasn't going to be like they weren't going to be passing on every down. He tried to bring it. He tried to bring it back in a balanced offense and things of that nature. But let's be real. That's what he was talking about. Is what people are hoping to see. That has been missing from the program for quite some time in terms of being able to show a little creativity on offense a little bit.
Well, one thing, if he could take it back to the Air Coryell days, which was games that were mostly played at Aztec Bowl, which do you even know
is
what
that
is?
A bowling alley?
No, Aztec Bowl.
It was on campus.
Is on campus.
A bowling alley was on campus? This is
No,
amazing.
no.
It's a bowl. It was in the shape of a bowl.
It's
It was a football stadium. Now Viejas Arena
yeah.
sits in there.
It sits in half of it.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Sits right in where
I'm being serious.
Yeah, that's where the football team used to play, right in there. And then they moved over to San Diego Stadium. But with Coryell, that was the hottest ticket anywhere, was an Aztec football ticket. And it really hasn't been that way since Coryell left. I mean, frankly. So, I mean, that's a long time ago. But it's nice to reference those things, get some of the old-time Aztecs thinking along those lines.
Again, he did his homework.
Right. He's not just coming in here without any idea what the history is like.
He did his homework, and he did it in a span of like 48 hours. I mean, I don't know how long the Aztecs have been talking to him, but it certainly has come to light for us in the last 48 hours. And to me, it's clear that he put some thought into what he was going to say. And he tied in some history, letting us know, hey, I'm paying attention to what you guys have done here at some point.
Right.
And I think that's a very, very positive thing. Lastly, Coach Sean Lewis talked about the 3 characteristics of this program while he's at the head.
It comes down to 3 simple things for me and for our program, that I believe victory grows through alignment and unity, that we know who we are, we know who we're going to be, and we're going to do that collectively together in alignment and through strength, so that we can have deep relationships that start with building up our people, that grow to building up those relationships, so that we have bonds that when tested will not be broken, that there will be a brotherhood, there will be a connection, and there will be a family-like atmosphere to our organization that will be able to withstand any storm that comes and all the greatnesses that are going to come, right? Because we're going to achieve great things, and we know that when great things are achieved, that great opportunities present themselves. There's also adversities that meet and mirror those opportunities. So we need to be emotionally, mentally, and physically resilient and have true grit about our program.
I'm ready to run through.
Right? You guys see what I was so excited about now?
Yeah,
he's excited.
That's good. That's good stuff right there.
It is.
And obviously we'll have to wait to see how it unfolds on the field. Of course, his first test will actually come before they ever play a game, and that's the portal. That's the first recruiting.
Bring those kids from Colorado with you.
We're gonna have to ask Kirk about that. See if he knows anything about.
Well, I mean, that's gonna because we talked about the sizzle, and the name Sean Lewis isn't the sizzle, but you bring a couple of top 10 recruits.
That's sizzle
in to play quarterback. That's going to get everybody's attention. And
it's heaven in a piece of meat.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're talking about sizzle, piece of meat, heaven?
Yeah, you're so funny.
You missed
Your ability to connect things is just beyond reproach.
This is how my brain works. You said sizzle. I thought about fajitas at Chevy's coming on a plate sizzling.
Nice.
So then I thought,
it's heaven in a piece of meat.
Yeah. Are you really going to be doing that diet?
yes.
With this kind of thinking?
Yeah,
you're
going to have to change that
jump
mindset
into
there,
that.
buddy.
Skraby's going to be trying the diet that I went on over the
I
summer.
listened to Skinny Chrisello for so long. I need to become skinny Matt Skraby.
You're going to have to, buddy, because if you're thinking about those type of thoughts, you ain't going to make it very long.
I'm going to make it.
I was looking through the book last
night. If you hear the word sizzle and you immediately think of
steak from
steak fajitas at Chevy's, you're going to have a tough go of it,
Chris,
my friend.
when he was getting to Skinny Chris, I would come in here with food, some of it sometimes good, sometimes bad. And I never, first time we've been doing the show, never saw his eyes peek above that computer screen.
Because he can't let it happen.
He knew.
Didn't want to tempt myself.
I don't want to tempt myself.
No, Chris only in the breaks
we
went through different countdowns of the best burgers and like best blueberry pies.
I would look
at
pictures.
I would look at pictures of stuff on the computer to eat.
Literally
yeah.
looking up best fast food burgers.
Yeah,
So
so
I'm
I
going-
can resort to that.
I'm going down the SD fat loss path, and I need Tony to help me because Tony forces me to eat with him when he doesn't want to eat bad by himself.
I'm-
So,
I'm-
Chris, you're now into that role.
I will do a better job.
I will do what I can to help you, Skraby. I'm rooting for you, man.
Thank you,
Because
thank
I know
you.
one thing: the SD fat loss thing works, and you're gonna feel great when you make it.
Hold on, I got
So-
something from Brock on the stream about SDSU Bowl, or is it Aztec Bowl?
Aztec Bowl.
I said, tell Chris I saw the LA Cosmos play in the old SDSU Bowl in the early 70s and watched Pele play.
Wow.
And then he said he might, meaning you, remember that.
I don't remember that because it would have been the New York Cosmos. That was the soccer team that Pele played on. But yeah, I know that I played a lot of fraternity flag football games in Aztec Bowl before they built
cool.
the Ajas Arena on there. It's a
I'm a big fan.
venerable old stadium.
That'd be probably. I mean, it could never happen on our campus because the campus is already tight.
Built up.
But I mean, to have a football stadium on your campus,
It was right there,
That's
right
gotta
in the
be
middle
pretty
of
sweet,
campus.
man.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't get in there to see Coriel's teams play back in the. Well, it's a long time ago now. Now though.
How long ago was that?
60s. I mean,
Wow.
1960s. I think that they started playing at San Diego Stadium in the late 1960s. So, you got to go way back for that Aztec Bowl.
Yeah.
We'll bring Nick Canepa on. He'll share some recollections one day.
All right, let's get to break. We got more on Sean Lewis, the new Aztec head coach. We'll be joined by Kirk Kenny of the San Diego Union Tribune. More Gwynn and Chris on the way.
The biggest fan contest is back.
on a Wednesday afternoon. You can watch the show streamed on the YouTube there. Just search for 97.3 The Fan. You can watch us at work. It is Chris Ello, it is Tony Gwynn Jr., it is Matt Skraby, and we're here till 6 o'clock on San Diego's #1 sports talk station. That being 97.3 The Fan. Kirk Kenny from the San Diego Union Tribune is going to join us shortly, talk a little bit more about the new head football coach at San Diego State, Sean Lewis, who was introduced today. Did you guys see this? 20% of all college football players now on FBS rosters are transfers. That's 1 in every 5 players is a transfer now.
That's crazy.
That is nuts. 5 years ago, 6% were transfers. So the number has grown from 6% to 20% in a matter of 4 or 5 seasons. And, of course, that's because guys don't have to sit out a year. They have the freedom to navigate the college football landscape, or the freedom in all sports to do that.
And it's it's actually quite easy to do too. I was down on campus today talking to Dr. Bree White, who's one of the compliance officers.
I love Dr. Bree White. She's wonderful.
She's
woman.
awesome. She was telling
wonderful lady.
She was telling me how, basically it kind of taking all the work out for them when they get a transfer, because it's just really matching up what credits work, what credits don't. And a lot of times you may have to change your major, but usually if a kid or a young lady or young man is transferring, they're transferring to play. And so they're willing to change their major to whatever it is at said school. But it seems like it's a lot easier than it used to be when you had to transfer.
Yeah, just ask the University of Colorado, where Sean Lewis is from. They had 70% of their players last year were transfers. Now, I wouldn't expect anything close to that at San Diego State, but I'm going to expect that there's going to be some. There's going to be some, and hopefully that can turn the fortunes of this football program around.
I'm going to have to get Sean
quicker rather than later.
I'm going to have to get Coach Sean Lewis's gamer tag. He's apparently he's a gamer. He's helped seal some recruits that way.
By playing Madden?
I don't know if it's Madden. What game? It could be what's Call of Duty is another popular one.
Oh man, I just got a PS5 and I've been trying real hard.
What do you do in Call of Duty? Just run around and try to kill as many people as possible?
Well,
is that basically the theme of the game?
You do two things. One's
two modes.
One's called campaign mode, where you have a story.
One is kill them. One is hurt them really, really bad.
One is called campaign mode. I'm trying to explain this to you, and it's where you go through a story. Like they write a whole story. It's kind of like a movie at this point, how these games look, and you're just a part of the movie. And then you also have the online version of the game.
That's where you're trying to take out folks.
I'm so bad at playing online. I spawn is what they call it, spawning. And then 15 seconds later, I'm dead.
Spawning? What are you, a fish?
No, that's what they call it when you're in a game. You spawn.
Where you just come out of nowhere and land.
You just are born into the world.
Chris, let me tell you, my days of Call of Duty ended when I couldn't stop being this guy who was in the corner, like pointing his gun up at the ceiling,
trying just to find someone.
Just stuck in a corner.
You know what really bothers me, because I got this like free pass or whatever, and so I was playing it the other day, and then when you hear the kids on the other end being like, "Man, you stink! Who are you? Get out of here!"
It's so discouraging. You never play online ever again.
It's like a 15-year-old talking trash to me right now. All right, Kirk Kenny.
Let's talk a little trash with Kirk Kenny. He joins us from the San Diego Union Tribune. I don't know that Kirk plays these Call of Duty games because he likes black and white television more than he likes video games.
Yes, he does.
How are you, Kirk Kenny? Good to have you on the program as always.
I have a Call of Duty every morning.
Okay, all right.
When I go to work.
Yes, I'm sure that's what you were referring to. All right, the show is headed down a dangerous path.
No.
Let's try to bring it back. Kirk,
I was working this morning.
You were out there getting it done. All right, what are your first thoughts of Sean Lewis, Kirk? Having got a chance to be at the press conference today, I imagine a chance to chat with him a little bit.
Well, first off, I think everybody looks up to him.
He's tall. Yeah.
He's tall, and I think he immediately commanded the room. He came out with high energy and talking and saying everything that people would want to hear about the future of San Diego State football. Big theme was about the offense, and dropped in some Don Coryell references, and I think the first impression was very good.
Kirk, I was down there a little bit after the press conference, and the words sounded like, at least from the player's standpoint, that they seem to be on board and pretty happy, at least with the first meeting they had. I mean, you talked about him commanding the room. Have you been able to speak to any of the players in terms of what their thoughts are?
I have not spoken to anyone yet. I haven't had that chance, but I will say I saw on Twitter, not maybe 10 minutes before they introduced him, their top offensive lineman, Cade Bennett, announced he's going in the portal. So that's the day and age in which we live now.
Speaking of that, do you think Sean Lewis has in mind to try to bring some of these recruits that left Colorado towards San Diego State? I mean, that seems like it would be a huge get and kind of a marquee thing if he's able to get one of these high-profile prospects to come our way.
He wouldn't go into specifics like that right now. The main thing he said is first was talking to his team, current team and players, and seeing where everybody stands there. Then he'll find out, where everything stands and see about going into the portal for other needs that they have going forward. Also, signing day is coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks, so that'll be a big part of his focus as well.
Yeah, I mean, was there a timeline on getting this done, Kirk? Because obviously you mentioned signing day. Obviously the portal is something that's always active. Was it important for the Aztecs to get this done as when they got it done?
I think very much so. I think J.D. Wicker bought himself some time when he said mid-December, but I think, that would have been too late with the signing day starting the 20th. The portal opens Monday. And, I don't think guys are going to immediately sign with another team the day after that, but you want to be able to hit the ground running. You want to be able to, kind of assemble your staff and be able to have some of those guys out there touching base with the current recruits and the guys that they're looking for. Time is of the essence. They're on the clock.
Kirk, how much do we know about the process that led J.D. Wicker to settling on Sean Lewis? And we know that he interviewed Tony White, the defensive coordinator from Nebraska, many other names. Sean Lewis, what do we think drew J.D. Wicker to him?
One thing he mentioned today, and I mean, I think all ADs have in their back pocket a list of some names, and he made it sound as if that Sean's name was already on that list in his back pocket. And I guess, paying attention to what he had done at Kent State before he even got to Colorado. As far as the process, I think they were able to interview a lot of candidates. One thing JD said also was that the beauty of Zoom now is he was out, I think, on Thanksgiving, seeing family out of state, and was able to still get some interviews done over Zoom while they were, technically on Thanksgiving vacation.
Kirk Kenny joins us here, Union Tribune, and Kirk, you talked about the theme being the offense. I mean, we've seen a few games. I mean, 3 or 4 games obviously stand out from this year watching Colorado. But did he get into any specifics on what this offense would look like?
A little bit. He also point to Kent State, where in 2021 they were very impressive, both passing and rushing were over 3,000 yards, which were school records. So they showed tremendous balance. But it's gonna be up tempo. I think he's used the word hyper and go. So it's doing a lot of things, seeing where they can be most effective. Obviously, we're all talking about the passing, but he's definitely not ditching the run.
He talked a lot about, everybody go out and get your tickets. Make sure you come see this team. We're going to be exciting. He made a call out to former Charger fans, said, hey, you want a football team to root for? Join the Aztecs. Do you think he really realizes how difficult it has been at San Diego State to get the kind of fan base following that they've been dying for?
I don't think he has an understanding of that so much, but I don't think he's going to worry about that either. I got the sense that he really wants to be a salesman for this program, get out in the community and really try and energize the fan base.
I mean, did it stand out to you? I mean, you've seen a lot of these press conferences, and just listening to Sean today, and Chris and I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. It stood out to me that it seemed like he did his homework about at least a little bit of who has come before him. You mentioned the Don Coryell part. Is that the norm? Can't recall that being something that came up previously from other coaches.
Yeah, I think he was able to drop a few references talking about the defense as well, and some of the other things that the program has been known for through the years. So, but he seemed pretty savvy. I think a lot of it, I think also he was talking from his heart. He kind of got emotional when he spoke about his wife and her being there for him through the journey. So, his initial impression to me was of a guy who is high energy and is going to really try and get out there and really try and connect with the fan base and make it an exciting team for them to come and watch.
Was there any reference to what happened at Colorado, Kirk? I mean, he was the offensive coordinator. They're going to have to a great start this year. Things started to fade a little bit. He wasn't calling plays, I don't think, at the end of that run in Colorado. Is there any concern about, what happened at the tail end with the Buffaloes?
No, and he wasn't going to go into specifics about what went south with all of that, but and I don't think there was any hesitancy on obviously San Diego State's part of how that all went down. In fact, if you look at the numbers, they were more productive when he was the play caller than thereafter when it went to Pat Schumer. So I think, if you look at that Colorado situation, I think especially as more and more things come out, we'll see that there were good things and bad things that happened up there. And I think moving him off that role was maybe one of the bad things.
Well, Kirk, listen, I think at least listening today, it certainly seemed like this is a coach that is pretty excited to have the job. Not that any coach wouldn't, but you mentioned that the energy he spoke with today, it just felt different today. It didn't, and that doesn't mean it's going to translate to wins, but certainly in your first introduction to San Diego, I don't know that he could have done a better job.
Yeah, I feel like he struck all the right notes for his first day.
Well, Saturday, September 7th, guys, that's the day to actually circle on the calendar. Washington State Cougars will be his first opponent at Snapdragon Stadium. Kirk, thanks for the time as always. Thanks for all of your Aztec updates, and continue the good work, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
There he goes, Kirk Kenny from the San Diego Union Tribune on Sean Lewis, the 37-year-old head coach of the San Diego State football team. Their non-conference games, by the way, next year are Washington State, Cal, that's on the road, and then Central Michigan. They're going to play them on the road as well before they get into whatever it is they're going to call the conference play next season. I don't know if they can. So Washington State's already on their schedule. Are they going to try to work Oregon State in next year, or do we think we're going to have to wait another year before they get them in? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a
little
little confusing.
It seems
right
like
now.
it would be kind of quick for that to happen, but
right.
I mean, I guess it still could happen.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have some open. They probably have an open date. I mean, they only have 3 non-conference games scheduled right now, so that tells me there's one opening for San Diego State next year.
The stream, Tommy he had a question. He's basically saying it's a little bit longer, but he says, I would like to see a Big 10 team or a Big 12 team or even an SEC or ACC team come to one of these Mountain West schools of elevation and see how they do at 4, 5, 6, or 7,000 feet. I would too, actually.
Well, it's an interesting point that Tommy's making. I brought it up many, many times, but
this is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Nobody's listening to me.
I'm just kidding.
The Mountain West Conference is a tough place for teams to play, and the travel in this conference is unlike any other conference. And, when you talk about the SEC, those teams don't go out of their time zone to play, and they don't have to change.
They don't have to, right?
Elevation. ACC, same thing. Well, now, though, I guess the ACC teams will have to because they'll go to Cal and Stanford as long as that lasts. But
ACC and Big Ten will have to travel.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a bit more travel. But you can never get one of those schools to come out here. I mean, I don't think an SEC team more than once or twice has ever even played on the West Coast in the last.
The last time I think
Auburn came out here and played. LSU maybe came out and played UCLA a couple of years ago, but very rarely. Alabama might have played USC. Doesn't happen much.
That was in Dallas. That was,
that
like a
was in Dallas,
neutral
right?
site.
Neutral site, yeah.
I remember SC going to Auburn back in my days of college, back in the day. But
yeah, it doesn't happen much.
SEC doesn't usually do that.
Did San Diego State ever? They didn't get Ohio State to come here ever, right?
No, they went to
Ohio
They
Ohio
played
State.
there.
yeah.
They
They
played
went
at
to
Michigan.
Yeah,
They didn't get Michigan to come here either. The one school that did come out here once, many years ago, was Oklahoma. And the Essex actually beat them here.
Miami came out
Really?
here too back in the day.
Yeah, Miami used to come out, and they used to play Miami quite a bit before the Hurricanes got national championship good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Aztecs have had their share of games against those kinds of opponents, but 99% of those games have been on the road. You go to Michigan, they write you a check for a bunch of money, you lose, and you fly home. That's
You
pretty much how that
lose
works.
And you fly home.
Yeah,
But you have the money, so
you get the money, so that's
Goes a long way.
yeah.
it does
Goes
go a long way.
All right, good to have Kirk on. We have plenty of stuff still to come on the program. We have our Daily Gambit around the corner. Skraby, did you not make any parlay bets last night?
I did not. I did,
All right,
and
good. So you
tonight.
didn't lose any money.
I will tell you guys, after I made my tequila statement, I got like 4 texts from
really?
Mark Grant,
Oh, Mudcat.
who wanted to remind me that it's odd that I like tequila because I typically get a margarita when I'm on the plane, the team charter.
You get a
Do
margarita.
you really?
Yeah,
You
man.
drink and fly?
Yeah, that's how you go to sleep faster.
I
How to-
see.
how to do it with the
Wait,
flight.
I didn't
a
know you drank and
margarita.
fly.
Yeah,
Is
man.
it? I'm assuming it's out of the can, like you get it. Is it like a cut?
Or do they
water
have
thing?
a bar? Do they actually have a bartender on
No,
board?
they don't have a bartender, but
All right.
you got to make it yourself. But they have the
You got to make it
ingredients.
yourself.
They got the ingredients.
So they have
for
the
it.
little shot bottle, and then they have like the margarita mix.
margarita.
Or do they have a
mix.
big bottle of
Ah.
Cuervo just sitting out there?
They got something in there. It's Cuervo. It could be
Do you have to pay for these?
no.
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness. Skraby,
I
you
would-
and I got to get in the major
Man.
league somehow.
I'm gonna start drinking if that's the
This
case.
traveling with the Aztecs is not quite the same.
I one time on a plane. I'm revealing way too much about me, but one time on a plane, I was refused alcohol, and
One
Was this-
time
was this in
only?
your? This
That's
was
not
in your.
bad.
yes,
your-
it was
your
in my
backstage?
drinking days. Yes, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I usually just got on the plane, watched a movie, and just drank. And so I'm on the plane, and I asked the woman for another glass of Merlot.
How much was this? How many glasses was this?
This was the 4th glass.
Okay. yeah, you
And
probably wouldn't be cut off.
she said,
They said no, huh?
they did say no. They said,
Really?
"Sir, you've already had over your limit." And I'm like, "Oh, come on, just one more, right? I'll even tip you. I'll even tip you." And she's
Did
like,
you
"No."
really try to con your way into it?
When you tell an alcoholic in the heat of alcoholism no, I'm going to try anything possible to get her to give me a Merlot. But,
But
she
you
didn't.
you didn't act up though. After you just sat down.
No, I'm
Good.
not. I'm not one of those people. I just like to be in my own little world. Yeah.
I can see that.
Scraby no longer imbibes.
No, it's almost
We're
7
very
years
happy
actually,
about that.
December 5th. But
That's right. December 5th's coming
it's
up
coming
next
up.
week.
I think it's
Hey.
next Tuesday. But the reason I tell those
Good for you.
stories just to let everybody know is because I do get messages from people saying that it helps them to hear stories like that. So I don't just offer up those stories because I'm a crazy person. There is a reason. I tell people why I almost got kicked off a plane.
Yeah, if you listen to our show, you probably know those reasons. And that's because Skraby is actually helping a lot of people.
I am.
So there's that.
All right.
And with that said,
And speaking of big time schools coming out to San Diego, I'm looking at future schedules.
I think I know where you're going.
2029, the Aztecs are supposed to host Oklahoma.
Here we go.
Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs continue their march back to the Super Bowl when they invade Lambeau Field.
to the 3 o'clock hour. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Skraby. Just celebrating a new Aztec head coach. Down on the Mesa, Sean Lewis becomes the head coach for the Aztecs. Pretty impressive presser to start the day. And we'll look forward to what that ends up bringing come regular season time. That's even before then, right? National Signing Day and the portal and so many tentacles now to college, to being a head coach at
It's
the
a whole
college
different
level.
experience, and it's all happened in 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's players are shifting schools right and left. I think we all loved it. We thought it was a great idea. I think we all loved the idea of the NIL. Players able to earn some money on their likeness, especially since prior to that, companies were just completely taking advantage of college athletes by using their likeness, making millions of dollars themselves and not sharing any of it.
Yeah.
So it was lopsided in the other direction. But I also don't think any of us expected it to turn into what it's turned into.
I don't think there was no way to predict what it
Yeah.
really has come to at this point.
And it's actually kind of bad now. I mean,
what happened, it was on the one end of the spectrum,
right.
and as opposed to going to like the middle, it swung all the way to the other
Yes, it
side.
did.
And so
Yes.
now
Very
you're
good
trying
point.
to find some type of middle.
I don't know how
ground.
they're going to get it back to the middle
Yeah,
ground.
you know.
It's going to be really difficult. I mean, you got boosters basically running amok, just writing checks
At least before
at will
right.
to players who
Well,
are
it's
buying
cash,
Rolls
Chris. It's not
Royces.
checks. It's
Yeah.
cash.
Whatever it
You can't
is.
just-
What's
you can't
wrong with
track
what's
cash.
wrong with a check?
Well, you
You
can
can
but
track
it,
the check.
but it doesn't matter if you track it now. It's legal.
Yeah.
No, but a booster can't just hand a guy a $10,000 check, right? He has to.
I'm
it's,
sure
it's not like
there's-
the movie
I'm
The
s-
Program where they
Yeah,
hand
no,
him envelopes.
I'm sure there's like avenues in which it has to go in order for it to be legit.
When
But-
I was researching yesterday about the quarterback that decommitted from Colorado, I went to a bunch of different quarterback rating websites, and they all had their NIL value listed next to their name, which some of them were like, you just go to school and you make $750,000, which I have no problem with. But where is that coming from? Are these like pre-existing deals that a company just says, hey, we're going to pay for whoever is playing quarterback for your school?
I think that is where the NIL, gosh, what's the term? We actually had one of them on the show talking about, gosh, it'll come to me.
Oh,
Give me some time.
I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the word either. So we'll just have silence, which is always good.
Chat, help us out. I know you guys are listening.
What's the word?
I don't
I
even
didn't
know
know
where to
what-
begin. It has to do with NIL. It's the legal way that it gets done.
Jurisprudence.
Hold up, no.
I don't even know what jurisprudence is. I don't even know what it is. Hope it's not anything bad.
I thought you were just, I mean, why did you just say
Collective.
something?
Collective. That's right.
Collective. That's not what I was
That's
thinking
right.
of.
No,
So I
there
would've
was
never
there
come
was
up with
a
it.
Florida Gator collective. Remember they backed out, and one of the kids who had qualified, who had committed,
That's
ended
right.
up going somewhere else because he wasn't going to get the money that he thought he was.
So I think these collectives are now, that's where the money goes into. NIL is connected to that.
Got it.
And it's
Well,
legal. It's not a
I don't mind the players getting some money to run around with, even maybe a little more than to run around with. But when every single college athlete's got a Rolls Royce, seems like, as you said, Tony, it's gone to the other side complete. And again, maybe I don't even mind them having a Rolls Royce, but when you're competing with one school offering a Rolls Royce and the other school offering a Mercedes, and the kid, kicking those schools out because the car, isn't what they want.
No.
I don't know. I think you got to have to earn your living a little
I
bit better.
think Skraby has infiltrated everybody's thinking that everybody's rolling around with a Rolls Royce. I don't
Yeah,
think that's.
maybe
I
not.
don't think that's. Really the case.
I think that Shador Sanders probably shouldn't have been
his
so
dad
brash about it.
is Deion Sanders. It is not
get
the
it.
same thing.
I'm talking about the parking tickets. I'm still upset
still
about those parking tickets.
got
I told you there's nowhere to park on that campus. I was there a few weeks ago.
If you can afford a Rolls Royce, you can afford an Uber to practice every day. Or hey, Dad,
What is
can
the
I have a ride to
point
practice
of
having
having
a
a
Rolls Royce if
Royce
you're
going to
gonna
take an Uber?
Because you could drive down to Denver,
Yes,
go downtown.
You would be a guy that buy a Rolls Royce and takes an Uber somewhere. That fits your profile.
There is something to having a nice car and being scared to death to take it out.
Are you one of
sometimes.
those people?
I'm not quite there. I do take my car out, but I do get nervous.
Yeah, I mean, you
when
should
anybody
feel
gets
like
near
that
the
now.
car,
You should feel
especially
like
since
that
somebody
now.
hit it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
bad.
All right, let's get to our daily gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit, our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Everybody, please gamble responsibly. I didn't make any parlay bets, so we did gamble responsibly on this show, but we did make 4 bets yesterday. And the first one would be Chris's Bulls against the Celtics. Celtics were 13-point favorites in this one. Chris chose the Bulls. Tony and I chose the Celtics. Or do they call them the Celts?
More they call them the C's.
The C's. I want to go with
Celts.
Celts. The
Yeah, not
Celts win 124-97, which is 27 points. So they
I had a
end
bone
up.
to pick with the Celtics.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
Actually, I don't.
You can't have a bone to pick. I had this bone to pick with them too, but then I found out why.
I understand, but the point being that they had to do what they did tells me there's something wrong with this in-season tournament. The Celtics were up by 32 points in the fourth quarter last night, but they had to win by a certain number in order to qualify and stay alive in that in-season tournament. So they started doing a hack-a-shack strategy on the Bulls' backup
Up
center,
30
Andre
something, yeah.
Drummond. Billy Donovan, their head coach, walked over to the Celtics coach and like, what are you doing? You're like up by 32 points and you're trying to what? Get the ball back? And the Celtic coach had to explain to Billy Donovan, well, yes, we need to
the
win
points.
by a certain amount of points in order to
Donovan didn't look like he
move
was
on.
too
Donovan
happy
didn't look
still.
like he was thrilled by the
He accepted it though.
He did accept it, but he wasn't thrilled. The whole thing is with this NCAA or NBA in season tournament, easy for me to say. It leads to some crazy things on a night like last night where teams are trying to win by a certain number of points.
Yeah, there was 2 teams that got eliminated because they didn't score enough. Magic were up, I think, 18 points.
Mm-hmm.
They got caught because whoever was behind them jumped them.
Right.
And then the Celtics had to put up like 36 in order to advance.
And my thing, even though I'm a Bulls fan, if you don't like getting the score run up, just be better. Be a better team. I mean, if you're so bad that the other team can name the score against you, that's your problem, not theirs.
They're in distance to Hack-a-Shack and get the points.
They're trying to give you some free points so that they can beat you by more. That's your problem, not theirs.
That's rough.
So,
Well, I'm sorry for the Bulls. They had to go through that.
No, they're
It's
struggling.
embarrassing.
it was embarrassing.
Next bet was Atlanta Hawks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Over under total points of 237. All of us went over, and all of us lost. It was Cavaliers 128-105, which is a total of 233 points.
I got to tell you, I'm learning more and more as we go along in this Daily Gambit segment that these odds makers are diabolical.
Diabolical.
They are
Chris.
so close every time. Listen to the Steph Curry
I
one
was just
coming
about
up
to
next.
say, you want to talk diabolical? It's the Steph
Unreal.
Curry one. The bet was over under 29.5 points for Steph Curry last night in the game against the Kings. You guys went over. I went under for no reason at all, other than to be a contrarian. And
that
Steph
worked.
Curry was under by half a point. He had 29 points.
He also took the
game winner.
tried to make the game-winning shot at the buzzer. So if you had that bet, you were alive till the very last flight of the ball bounced off the rim.
Wow.
I mean, that's good odds making right there.
That's why they get paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
Do they?
I don't know what they get paid, but I assume it's
They
a
get
lot.
paid pretty well.
Last night, the Canucks took on the Canucks.
Are you going to continue to try this?
I just have to finish the joke out, okay?
It's not gonna work.
Vancouver -1.5 on the puck line. Chris and Tony both chose the Canucks. I chose the Canucks, and the Canucks win 3-1 So you guys win.
No matter how many times you say that, no one else
I know.
anywhere on earth is going to
it's
ever call them the
still
Canucks. 'Cause it's
It
dumb.
only works when they're playing the Canucks.
It doesn't work then.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
All right, Chris, what you got?
I got potpourri of gambling fun for tonight. Tony is 4-4 so far this week. Skraby, you and I are 3-5.
Oh,
Nothing to write home about. Los Angeles Lakers take on the Detroit Pistons tonight in Detroit.
Bounce back.
I'll tell you one thing. If the Lakers lose this game, Tony's going to be, inconsolable if they lose this game? I mean,
It's too early
Detroit's,
to be inconsolable,
but
but
Detroit's lost, isn't it 15 in a row? Or did they finally? Nope, 14 in a row.
14 in a row.
14 losses in a row.
The folks who are on the stream will get to see it a little bit of it live because the game
You will
starts
see
in
Tony
less than
watch
an
the
hour.
game tonight. That is an added bonus to checking in on the stream for sure. Lakers are favored by 7.5. Tony, I'll put you down for the Lakers.
Thank you.
Skraby
Lakers are favored by 7.5. Huh?
against a team that's lost 14 straight games. The Lakers also coming off a loss of 44 points the other night. Skraby, what do you want
So
here?
LeBron's at the top of his game.
7.5
After losing by
points.
44. Tony was like, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to fall
not
for it.
even
Just
listening
let him.
to you,
Just
buddy.
let him.
14 straight games is crazy, but I would say this about any team that they're playing, but I think Detroit's going to turn it around at some point. So I'm going to pick the Pistons.
The Pistons plus.
Did you just hear
7.5.
that, ladies and gentlemen? He said Detroit is going to turn it around.
Well, tonight. I mean,
Oh, just tonight.
they're going to win. They're going to not going
against
to
the
lose their
Lakers and
15th
LeBron.
straight. They're
Okay.
going to win and
They're going to
reset
win.
the
You're
clock.
calling a straight up
Wow.
win.
I don't know about that either.
All right, I'll take the Lakers anyway. Zion Williamson.
Oh, my
Probably
God.
Checking on your guy. He is with
but-
the Pelicans.
I haven't heard too much from you.
No,
on,
he's been
on the whole
because he's been
Zion.
playing
Yeah.
and doing very well, right?
You know, this is why it makes me a hater because I couldn't even tell you what he's been doing this year.
Yeah, I know
couldn't
you can.
even tell
He's
you.
actually been. I think he's had 25 or more in the last
Oh, here we
5
go.
straight.
He's averaging 23 and a half. He's played in 14 of their 18 games. That's pretty good.
He's averaging 23 and a half. He's averaging nearly 6 rebounds, nearly 5 assists, 54.8% field
And
goal.
you talked so bad about this young man.
The only thing I said was that he doesn't play. I said he was an exciting player, and I like when he plays, but he doesn't play enough.
He's
But
playing now.
these are good stuff. These
He'll
are
be
good
in
numbers
line.
right here.
He'll be in the lineup tonight against the Sixers.
I'm in on
Over
him
under
now.
for him is
Hater.
23 and a half points, Skraby. You're up.
23 and a half points. That's exactly what he averages.
Yes, that's why they get so close on these picks.
All right. 23 and a half points. He's gone over that in his last 5 appearances. I am going to say over.
Over. You're getting behind Zion Williamson
Yes.
tonight.
No,
I'll say
it's
under because
fake
it's
love.
against
I'm a
Embiid.
huge Zion fan.
Fake love.
Under.
You're going to go under.
Yeah.
Who are they
Yes.
playing?
Home against the Sixers.
Over.
Over. All right. I'm alone on this one. Some college basketball tonight. The showdown matchup in the state of Colorado features Colorado at Colorado State. Colorado State is the ranked team here. They are number 20 in the nation are the Rams. They are 6-0. Colorado, though, is 5-1. Game will be telecast on the CBS Sports Network. Colorado State favored by 3.5. Chris, you're first. Even though my wife won't like this, I'm taking Colorado. My reasoning is that every time the Mountain West Conference gets a team ranked, they immediately lose.
Big facts.
It never
Big
seems
facts.
to fail. So I say Colorado State will blow it tonight, and I'll take Colorado plus the 3.5. Tony, what do you want to do?
I too will take Colorado.
You'll take
Mhm.
the
plus 3.5.
Buffaloes
Mhm.
plus 3.5.
All right.
Scraby, contrarian.
I
you
think
went to Colorado State. Come
He
on.
went
you gotta-
everywhere.
I
Did you go
did.
to Colorado
I did.
too?
Probably for a
I committed
Cup
to
of coffee.
Colorado and didn't actually go. That's a whole nother story one day. Colorado's reeling from the loss of Sean Lewis, so they're gonna let their
It's going to affect their men's
they're gonna
basketball team.
let their guard down tonight. I'm taking the Rams.
Take your Rams.
They're really on the hoop court.
You got to take your
Hilarious.
Rams.
I am.
All right, good. We have one more college basketball game. It's a local game tonight out at the Jenny Craig Pavilion. You can go out and see some Division I action. This is Northern Colorado taking on the University of San Diego. Toreros. The Toreros are 5-2, guys.
Wow.
Steve Lavin
Nice job.
has them playing okay. They haven't really played the big name schedule. And but they have won 5 of their 7 games. Taking on Northern Colorado tonight. I don't know a whole lot about the Bears, other than the fact that they're the Bears, which I think is actually pretty
Is that the place that
surprising that I knew that.
Austin Eckler went to? Or is that
Austin Eckler did maybe go to Northern Colorado. I know the Aztecs played them in the NCAA
think he
tournament that one year. I'm checking in on Northern Colorado. They're
Western Colorado?
No, he went to
He
Western.
went to one of the directional Colorados.
Northern Colorado is 3-3 this year. They do have a game against Colorado State on their schedule. They lost by 19. If that gives you any insight, USD is favored by 4 tonight.
Only 4.
Only 4.
Oh, I'm going USD then.
Wow. Skraby jumping, not even your turn.
Yeah.
You're just
I'm a
jumping in.
Torero. Yeah. Oh, it's not my
It wasn't
turn.
your turn. It's Tony's turn, but
Well,
I already put you down for USD.
Who did?
Me.
For who?
Skraby
Oh.
took USD minus
Yeah,
4.
yeah. I'll go Northern Colorado.
Tony can't pick
Tony
US.
can't. Well, he can't pick USD.
No.
He has a deep-seated
It's very strange.
dislike of them. I'm going to go with Steve Lavin tonight. Come on, Lav.
USD.
Give USD minus the 4.
All right.
All right. Those are our 4 picks for tonight, and we'll see how we do on
All
the
right.
show tomorrow.
Let's do that. Let's slide away for a break. When we come back, more Gwynn and Chris. Here's some traffic.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danning.
I might say. Coming up shortly, Xavier Scruggs is going to join us, former Major League ball player who played for Mike Schilt and is a pretty big fan of Mike Schilt. We'll find out why when he joins us to talk about the Padres' new manager in about 15 minutes. Speaking of baseball and Padre managers, one of the top candidates for the Padre managerial job, Ryan Flaherty, is now the bench coach for the Chicago Cubs.
Joins Craig Counsell. And
Andy Green had that position as well under David Ross.
Yeah, he's moved to the Mets organization in the front office. So,
but former Padre managers or candidates go to become bench coaches in Chicago, apparently.
Yeah, this is if you're Ryan Flaherty, you lose out. He was here for quite a bit of time, right? Ryan's been here since Manny's been here, I believe.
Let me just make sure.
Maybe a year after, but nonetheless, you lose out to Mike Schilt, who had been in the organization less time as you. So, is there anywhere to go at that point once you miss out on the opportunity?
I guess he could have been bench coach for Mike Schilt. Maybe that
2019 was
that's basically.
That's a lateral move.
Yeah,
but this is a lateral move. It's just getting into a different organization.
And they gave Craig Counsell quite the bag, so I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. But for Ryan, it may be just the opportunity to be underneath somebody like Craig Counsell. In so many ways, I could see this being like the perfect marriage for those two.
I hope it works out
because they have a very similar dispositions, and they see the game a lot of the same way. I think that it'll be a good move for him.
It would be hard. It would be hard, though.
You hate to lose a guy like that if you're the Padres.
It would be hard, though, if I'm Ryan Flaherty and I'm in the organization from 2019 on, and they think so highly of me that they're giving me an interview for the manager
Not only did
job.
they give you an interview when Bob Melvin had to depart for a
you were the
bit,
guy.
He was the manager.
And so I could see him being like, I could come back here, but I might just want to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I can see it.
Because it would be hard to.
Are you trying not to use the word bitter? Do you think he's a little bitter?
I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. I don't think he's bitter. I would be bitter, probably.
You definitely would be.
You
bitter.
would be.
But I can understand
I'm not
why.
coming back then in any fashion.
But sir, we gave you a pay raise and your title didn't change. But I want a new title. No, I can just see it though.
You sound like a tyrant over there, which is exactly what you are.
I am not a
which
tyrant.
is exactly why the good guy at Cathedral High the other night who said, I don't know how you put up with this guy, was 100% correct.
Do you remember his name? Because I'm probably sure that he's been in my DMs telling me how much I stink.
Speaking of former Padres, Ryan Flaherty, now bench coach of the Cubs. Nelson Cruz has joined the evil empire.
What?
Former Padre DH.
Just happened.
Longtime Major League outfielder has joined the Dodgers as an advisor. Yeah, there you go. He will work mostly out of the team's academy in his native Dominican Republic.
Well, listen, remember, Nelson was the GM for the Dominican team for the World Baseball Classic.
Okay. Yeah,
that's
right.
This seems to be what he is interested in doing. And
but we're not happy with him.
No.
He became a Dodger. He's now under the Dodger umbrella. Sorry, Nelson. We no longer can be a huge fan.
I still got love for you, Nelly.
Nelly he's a nice guy, right?
He's a really nice guy.
You remember when we were at spring training and we wanted an interview with him, and we were like, he stood there and waited for us, but we're like, hey, you don't need to wait for us. We'll come get you.
Standing up, like just waiting.
Just waiting. And he was like, I can't remember who was interviewing, but it made that player nervous because Nelson Cruz was just standing 3 feet from him the whole time.
One other baseball note. I think this was an interesting one. The Hawk. You know, the Hawk
Andre Dawson, baby.
Yeah, man. I really liked Andre Dawson. I mean, I know that he took flack for winning the 1987 NL MVP because the Cubs were a last place team that year.
But
Andre Dawson was the man.
Yeah.
I mean, 47 home runs. He had one of the best right field throwing arms I ever remember.
Yes.
Speed.
He did everything.
Everything incredibly well. But he went into the Hall of Fame with the Montreal Expos logo on his cap and the plaque. Andre Dawson wants to change. He told the Chicago Tribune, I don't expect them to jump on something like this. If they elect to respond, they'll take their time. He said, I wouldn't surprise me if they don't respond, but he wants to change to a Chicago Cub logo on his plaque.
I don't know what led to it being in Montreal Expo, if it was his decision or Major League Baseball's decision,
I don't know
but
how that all
that's surprising. I don't
came
think I knew.
about.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
That he went in as a Montreal Expo.
It says 3 weeks after he was elected by the baseball writers in 2010, the Hall said it decided the plaque would have an Expos cap.
You think, why would they do that?
I don't know. Why wouldn't they ask Andre what he wants to go in as? That's strange.
That is strange.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hall of Fame, for their part,
maybe,
now says we do plan to speak to Andre, but we have not yet received an official letter asking for us to change. The Hall of Fame, I love it. I love you guys at the Hall of Fame. It was great thrill to be there and do the behind the scenes tour with Tony and everybody. But you guys got to get your head out of your where. Come on. If he wants to change his plaque, change his plaque. It's not that tough.
Maybe they felt like the Expos didn't have anybody representing him.
Yeah,
so
maybe that was
threw that in.
Did Vlad Sr. go in as an angel?
Don't know.
Think he did.
I don't know.
We
I
did
thought he would
interview
have gone
him.
in as an Expo.
Some guys go in as a nothing.
As a no team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. You got to choose a team. It's too weird to not choose a team.
I think Dave Winfield ended up going in as a Padre, much to the anger of Yankee fans. Dave
Why did he choose that?
Well, he ended up working for a long time, many years in the Padre organization as a in the front office.
Okay.
So I think he wanted to
extend it a little bit.
Be a Padres.
He was the first Padre, right?
Players were allowed to make their own decision through 2001, but the Hall of Fame took over the decision ahead of the 2002 vote. That's because in 1999, reports surfaced that the Tampa Bay Devil Rays said they would compensate the newly retired Wade Boggs if he went in as a Devil Ray instead of Boston.
Yeah, that was happening quite a bit.
So that's why the Hall decided for Andre Dawson. He didn't have his own choice because he went in after that rule was changed.
Vladimir Guerrero Sr. is the first member of the Hall of Fame to be depicted with the Angels cap, even though he appeared in more games with the Expos and played more seasons with the Expos.
There you go.
Leave it to MLB.
Leave it to MLB. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will talk some MLB. Xavier Scruggs, now with ESPN, former ball player from Poway, a local guy who is pretty happy with the local baseball team's new managerial hire. We'll find out why when we come back.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
Everyone's writing in. Roll your R's more. I can't roll my R's. Try. But yeah. Try this.
first of all, I don't know if we talked about the relievers of the year, but those were announced today. Felix Bautista of the Orioles, Devin Williams of the Brewers.
What?
Devin was, yeah.
Did they not pay attention to Josh Hader? Or Devin Williams better than Josh Hader? I mean, not that it matters all that much to me.
No, it matters to me.
It really bothers you?
Yeah, because Josh Hader was the guy.
I mean, Tony, you keep telling me Josh Hader by far best reliever in baseball. I thought he was statistically too.
I think he is because he's done it for so long. Devin Williams is right there.
Well,
I mean, he hasn't done it as long. That's the only
but
difference.
he did it better this year, you think, than Josh Hader? I don't know.
Skraby, pull up the numbers.
I think the 49ers. I'm tired of the 49ers.
Sorry,
They're now
49ers have
infiltrating
nothing
my
to do with
thoughts. They're infiltrating my thoughts.
How
even
are
when
the
I don't want them to.
49ers infiltrating your thoughts?
Can't stand the 49ers.
He was 8-3, Devin Williams was 8-3, 1.53 ERA, 36 saves in 58 innings, 87 strikeouts, and then Josh Hader
8-3, 1.5,
1.53, and then 36 saves. Hader was 2-3, but 1.28, 33 saves in 56 innings, 85 strikeouts. See, he did more with less.
Well, they had the same strikeouts, same innings pitched, just a better.
No. Devin
ERA.
Williams
had more innings pitched, right?
He had. Let's see. I guess not too many, but no, never mind. Two innings. That's not.
That's not a lot at all.
But he had 3 more saves.
Go figure. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you one thing because I saw Devin Williams interviewed on the TV here after he won the award.
Uh-oh.
Josh Hader has a far better head of hair.
Yeah,
Devin Williams has some work to do on his hairstyle.
It might be time to let it go, bro.
Devin,
no, he's got those sweet.
He got the Jerry Rice, dreads.
Even Tony said it didn't work, and if Tony backs me up on it, then I feel confident.
You know,
that he didn't look very good.
We all remember what Jerry looked like with those dreads and that Raider uniform.
You mean the one that where like started halfway up his head?
If he was saluting, he would be starting in the middle of his head, and that's almost where Devin is.
By the way, I watched Hard Knocks last night. We got to get to our interview, but there's a new salute now that the Dolphins fans do on Hard Knocks. I saw them all doing it. It's this.
It's a fin.
Yeah, basically saying that you're a Finn fan. And you put your.
That's good.
Get creative, people.
That's good.
That's what they came up with.
It's like the Waddle. I like that.
Waddle is cool, but he hasn't done enough.
He hasn't done it at all this year that I remember.
All right, Xavier Scruggs joined us. We recorded it earlier because he couldn't be on with us at this point. You get a chance to hear some traffic.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Turning out to be a busy ride, guys. Northbound side of the 5 before Loma Santa Fe. There is a collision that's just been cleared out of lanes. Also traveling on eastbound 78 past Emerald. Accident involving a couple vehicles there over to the right shoulder. In the Fallbrook area, southbound 15 past Mission Road. Crash being cleared out of the fast lane. Further south, right before Mira Mesa Boulevard, there is a stalled car in middle lanes. Then, not bad ahead, south 15 before the 52. We are getting reports of a collision that is in middle lanes. Toward the border, southbound 5, right before Camino de la Plaza. There is a collision over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Our next guest really needs no introduction. I would like to say he's an up-and-coming broadcaster, but I think he's already arrived. Fellow Poway High Titan, Xavier Scruggs joins us, ESPN MLB broadcaster. Xavier, how are you, man? How you been? How's the off-season treating you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I appreciate you guys having me on. I just got done actually taking kind of that first vacation that we've taken in a long time, family-wise, during Thanksgiving, kind of got away. So it's nice to be back home and kind of in the midst of all the craziness going on with baseball season now.
Well, first of all, it was well-deserved vacation. I don't know if there was a harder working man on the national stage, at least, than you. So well-deserved. Let's talk a little bit about this Padre hire. Mike Shildt, you, of course, had an opportunity to be around Mike at a young age. And I personally love this hire for the Padres. I think it's the perfect hire for him. But where do you come down on Mike Shildt and him being the Padres manager?
Yeah, I was excited to see the move. You know, first and foremost, San Diego is still where my heart is at. So I always want the best for the organization. And having been under Mike Schilt during my minor league days, and even while he was the major league manager with the St. Louis Cardinals, having opportunities to talk with him and keeping that personal relationship, I was excited to see it, mostly not necessarily so much for the aspect of him, you know, the X's and O's of the game and all that. I was more excited about the idea that, you know, the culture that he builds around him is extremely special. And I wanted people to understand that, because he's a leader that cares more about the person and wants the person, all the people around him, whether it be coaches, staff, players. He cares about those personalities. He knows how to communicate. You know, he cares about the players' well-being. And a lot of times, you know, we say that stuff, and it's you know, it can be cliche, but the fact that I got to experience it and see it for myself and kind of understand it on multiple levels as I played with him on multiple levels, I know how special it'll be for the San Diego community and the players within that clubhouse. Because if we're being quite honest and frank, like, that was one of the issues, was, you know, that this quote unquote no leadership within the clubhouse and all that. So I think that that's something that we'll see changed for the better.
Xavier Scruggs is our guest here, and we're talking about the Padres hire of Mike Schilt, who played for him. And can you expand a little bit on what you just said? I mean, some examples maybe that come to mind of, you know, the way Mike Schilt deals with personalities, the way he allows people to grow, allows them to, you know, hopefully be their best when they're out on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that I actually talked to Mike today, and this is maybe the perfect example, is him already going and meeting with players and having dinner with players and learning about what makes those players go. And I think him sitting down with different guys, a lot of times you won't hear managers actually sitting down with players in and out of the season, trying to figure out what is it that drives you? What is it that motivates you on a personal level? And I think that's a lot of what he can bring out of a player. And once you start, and another thing from him too is he builds a level of trust that a lot of times you don't have with the manager. And I think that that's a special quality that he has that not a lot of guys have. And I'm not even talking about just I'm not even talking about just managers. I'm talking about people in general. So I think there's a level of trust that he builds within guys. And I think it comes through him showing his insecurities, him showing that he's still willing to learn as much as possible within the game. I think him being a part of this organization over the last couple of years and on the player development side and just learning within the organization, that speaks highly to the person that he is as well, taking a step back from a managerial role. So I think you'll see some of those things come more into play in this 2024 season.
Xavier Scruggs joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. You can catch him on ESPN. He's one of the better MLB announcers we have going in the game. And X, let me ask you, because we talked a little bit about the locker room leadership and the type of individual he is, but what type of temperament are we getting as a manager in between the lines? Because, you know, in my experience dealing with Mike over the last couple of years, he's a very calm individual, but there's something about him that tends to tell me he's got a little snap in him.
he definitely does, and it's almost, it's funny sometimes because you know, he's not a big dude. He's very, you know, on the smaller side. You know, not somebody that looks huge in stature, but there's a calmness to him. But it's funny because he always says, don't mistake my calmness for weakness.
Yeah.
And that's something that he's always kind of preached, but it's true because he can snap extremely quick. If you remember, there were some times with the Cardinals that maybe a small call that kind of disturbed him, he would all of a sudden go extremely red. So I think I think I'm kind of joking, but at the same time, I think that there's something to that, because he's very smart about how he picks his decisions in protecting his players. And I think that that's something that you'll recognize this throughout the course of this season. And he's going to lean on some of those guys that have some heavy weight in that clubhouse to really help him along the way. And I think, you know, maybe where a Bob Melvin couldn't get to some guys, that may be where Schultz is able to have a little bit more of that influence.
Mike Schilt is the new manager of the Padres. Good hire. Xavier Scruggs, who used to play for him, thinks so. He's joining us here on 97.3 The Fan. I'm not really trying to dig up a whole lot of dirt here, but there are a lot of people that wonder what happened at the very end in St. Louis. I mean, after all, he won 17 games there at the end of that last season. He made the playoffs every year he was there. He was a manager of the year. It was almost like they couldn't wait to get rid of him. He said he's learned from that. And will take steps going forward. I mean, what do you surmise happened there in St. Louis?
Yeah, I have relationships with both John Mozeliak, the president of operations with the St. Louis Cardinals, and Mike Schilt. And I think that there would seem to be a butting of heads over, they said, you heard the word analytical, but I think it was more so personnel. I think there was some guys that really Schilt was fighting for to keep on the roster that maybe some of the people in the front office with the Cardinals didn't necessarily agree with. And maybe they're trying to give opportunities to other players. But I think that speaks to something that I just told you about is there's a willingness for him to be very adamant for his players. And I think that that's something that should excite the fan base of San Diego, knowing that you have that type of manager coming in. But, and you guys know this, there's so many different ways that people butt heads within organizations. And I think Mike said the right thing is he learned from that, and he's going to be able to take that into a next situation. And when we have failures, and this is within any aspect in life, if you want to call it that, we learn from those things, and those things make us better.
X, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about a player that I think we both think very highly of in Juan Soto. I've been on record here that I would hate to see him outside of a Padre uniform, but it does look like things are shaping up that he may very well be moved this offseason. Right now, you're hearing the Yankees name a lot. I think I saw a piece where you were talking about the Yankees as well. What do you think makes that organization the right fit if you're going to move a guy like Juan Soto?
Yeah, I think the Yankees seem like they could be a fit for both sides, right? Because they're looking for that outfielder, obviously. But I also look at there is some young talent there that the Padres could, be able to maybe hold on to as far as guys that you could see them not just for this year, but moving forward. And without, if I'm looking at the Yankees, if there's no Jason Dominguez coming back, I may not be trading Juan Soto. I think that would be the first person I'm looking at. But also look at, some young stars, some young starters. I look at Clark Schmidt, a guy that could possibly help that rotation there with the Padres. A Michael King who slid into that role too, who seems to give them some depth now in that rotation. That could be something the Padres could be looking for too. I just look at there's never enough pitching, right? And I think that, most managers will tell you that. And I think as much pitching as the Padres can have going into 2024, that's going to be a huge benefit to them, especially if they're losing the best hitter, one of the best hitters in all of baseball.
Should the Padres be really good next year, in your estimation? I mean, off of this disappointing season, they still have a lot of guys that are coming back.
Yeah.
They're losing stuff in free agency. Don't know if they'll get Blake Snell back. It's probably doubtful. Josh Hader, Michael Wacha, Nick Martinez. I mean, they've let, Seth Lugo. They've lost some pieces,
right.
But do they still have enough? I mean, the Dodgers are going to be right there, and who knows if they get Ohtani. The Diamondbacks were just in the World Series.
Giants are supposed to be spending a lot of money.
Giants are there. I mean, this is not an easy spot for the Padres necessarily.
It's not. And the reason why it's not, and you know what, I won't discount the offense. I know that they didn't perform the way they should have last year, but when you have names like Xander Bogaerts and Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado and a Ha-Seong Kim, who's now become almost a star within this game, I still look forward to them scoring runs. I think they'll be better than they were last year collectively. Now, the pitching to me is ultimately going to be the deciding factor, right? You have Joe Musgrove. You also have Yu Darvish getting a year older. They're going to have to build more depth within that rotation and also maybe look towards getting another frontline type of guy. I mean, you don't compete with the Dodgers, and now you're looking at the Diamondbacks. Yeah. You don't compete with those teams without making sure you have three guys that can go out there and give you wins and punch tickets. and be able to give you an opportunity to stay in game. So if they build more pitching depth and maybe add another frontline guy, I still see them competing at the top of this division.
Last one from me, X. This will be a wild card question. I know you. I know you enjoy Shohei Ohtani very much, and he's kind of put the press on teams, basically telling teams, keep my name out of the media should we meet. Who do you like Ohtani ending? Where do you like Ohtani ending up?
Oh man, this is a tough one for me because being from San Diego, I hate. I don't even like seeing Dodger blue, but it just makes so much sense because we saw the Dodgers take a step back from spending, right? Last year, you saw them do some uncharacteristic like things like signing a Noah Syndergaard for rotation depth. So it told you that they were taking a step back and mostly because they're in love with Shohei Ohtani. I think this team, like multiple teams, may be willing to do whatever it takes to add him. And I just see that it's going to be hard to compete with their dollars. Yes, I look at the Mets, but also the Mets seem to be trying to prepare for 2025 and maybe beyond that. So the Dodgers, if they're in that win now mode like they normally are, they're going to be looking to land Shohei Ohtani the game's best.
All right, before we let you go, X, now he went to Poway High School?
A little bit after I did.
You know that my co-host is now in the Poway High School Titan Hall of Fame after he was inducted there about a month ago. What do we have to do to convince the powers to be to get you inducted alongside Tony Gwynn Jr.? Because these guys listen.
He's on his way.
These guys listen to the show, so we got to put your name forth here.
Yeah, I think all the stats and stuff speaks for itself. But I think where Tony got me is he was so athletic in every sport. Like this guy would be basketball over there, then hitting home runs on the baseball field. I remember watching him doing his thing, stealing bases, doing everything. I'm like, man, I want to if I could just do a little bit of what Tony did, then maybe I could call myself maybe a great Poway Titan. So I mean, we go way back. Poway was the spot, and I'm just happy to see everything that you've done and accomplished yourself.
Ditto, X. Ditto, man. You're doing a terrific job. Keep up the good work, man. Appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us, and we'll catch you up on the big screen here soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Xavier Scruggs. We'll be back. 4:00 hour on the way.
Christmas fans, 833-288-0973. Line
Play
up,
now.
everybody, please.
Play.
Two of the nation's best teams meet with a trip to the college football playoff on the line in the SEC championship game when Alabama aims to take down the two-time defending champion Georgia Bulldogs. Our coverage begins Saturday at 12:30 on 97.3 The Fan.
Our Cox mobile plans are like a band. The more people you add, the better it sounds. So add more lines to save more. Pay as low as $30 per line when you add 4 or more gig unlimited lines. It's easy. I like the sound of that. Visit cox.com/mobile. 4 lines required for $30 per line. Price max of 5 lines. Prices exclude taxes, device activation, and other fees and charges, which are subject to change. Cox postpaid internet required. Other restrictions apply.
O'Reilly. You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Vicks Vapo Stick delivers soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. Vicks Vapo Stick, comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
Fill your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Cyber Golden Gable deals are here at Lowe's. Deck your home with a holiday living 4-piece decor set that includes a wreath, garland, and 2 potted trees. A $149 value for just $59. And don't forget to upgrade your bathroom with up to 50% off select vanities, faucets, and shower heads. Hurry, these cyber savings won't last because Lowe's knows deals. Valid through 11/29 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
Away we go. It's the 4 o'clock hour. Gwynn and Chris, hour number 3 of our Wednesday get-together. Hopefully you're not just tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed the first half of our proceedings today. They've been quite entertaining, if we do say so ourselves. Sean Lewis is indeed the new head football coach at San Diego State University. That was announced this morning, and we wish him the best. Sean, you got at least 2 Aztecs for life right here in your corner. Skraby, I'm not sure who he roots for
he's
over there.
I like the Aztecs. I don't have a college football team.
Win.
I don't have a college football
That's
team. I didn't
AKA changes with the win.
I didn't go to a school with a good enough team for me to hang on to. So
plenty of schools that had football teams.
I went to Palomar. They had a good football team, but not necessarily the college experience I'm looking for.
Then
with
you
the
went to?
I went to Colorado State, but I went only during the winter time, so I only got the awful Colorado State basketball team. I don't think won a game while I was there.
And then you went to
University of San Francisco, who also had an awful basketball team, and I think they won like 3 games while I was there.
That was your last stop?
That was my last stop.
Okay. I thought you went to. Oh, that's it.
Where else would I have gone?
At least 3 more.
You said you were accepted and then rejected at the University of
I
Colorado.
was not rejected. I rejected them.
You rejected somebody.
Yeah,
there's a story that needs to be told.
I think.
Why are you rejecting anybody?
I think this may be one of my biggest regrets in my life.
Wow.
I bet.
Honestly, I'm telling the 100% truth.
Why did you decide that you didn't want Colorado?
I don't know that I want to admit it, to be honest.
We're going to get to the bottom of this at some point.
Fine, let's just do it. I was in a whole different world as an 18-year-old in my mental state.
How so?
I was very emotional. I was just
Like, it's
trying to figure
too-
out the world.
You think it was too far? I mean, Colorado State's not that far.
I thought about it being too far, but the
Colorado
real reason
State's
was
Is there a girl involved in this?
there's a girl involved in
Always
this. We met. This was like a first love thing. I was like, this is it. This is never going to break up.
Oh God! And so you.
I will
gave
give her
up-
credit. She said, "You don't need to do that for me."
She tried to warn you.
She said, "You don't need to do that for me."
So you turned down Boulder, Colorado, to stay with your girl at the time.
I did, and she broke up with me.
How much longer did that?
Like
last?
4
As
months.
soon as he decided that he wasn't going to Colorado.
It was over. You know what, Chris?
You should have known when she told you
You don't have to do this.
that
I was too young.
should have gone, that she probably wanted the long distance relationship.
See, that's what I was worried about because
You tried to force it.
maybe this is actually kind of therapy for me now I'm thinking about it. Chris actually hit something right there, is that I probably should have listened when she said, "You don't need to do that."
I think that's a pretty obvious sign there, Scrape.
I was young, 18. I was not very smart.
I know you'll find this hard to believe,
What?
but you're still young.
Yes,
I'm
you
38, Chris. That was
You're
20
older
years
than the
ago.
Aztec football coach, but you're still young.
Since
Just
we're on
barely, too, by the way.
I know. Since we are on the topic of my first girlfriend,
We
on
really
our,
aren't.
on
We
our
were talking
first
about
date.
Boulder, really.
Yeah, well, here we'll end on this one. On our first date, I ended up like going to. I was so nervous that I ended up reaching for the water, but I punched it, and the water went all over her.
That's not a surprise at all.
all over her.
I almost could have predicted that.
Like it
That
was
was your
bad.
first
It was
date.
in slow motion. The waterfall coming off the table onto I don't know her jeans or whatever she was wearing. Can you guys shut me up, please?
Nope. I like when you get lost.
I'm
I like
lost.
this.
I'm lost. I can't believe I just admitted that.
We just were going through your stops, and then we got the whole girlfriend story.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But I will say to anyone out there who is, thinking maybe I shouldn't go off to college because of a girl, I'm telling you right now, you're going to regret it.
Go.
You're going to regret it. So go to college.
All right, there's no telling whether or not Skraby will still be bemoaning this fact an hour from now, but we can tell you that an hour from now, somebody's name will be called in today's biggest fan contest right at 5:00. Tune in and hope that your name is called. If it is, you'll have a chance to win the big grand prize, which is a night in the Odyssey Suite at Petco Park to see Padre baseball with all of your friends, family, and 97.3 The Fan hosts. If you want to sign up for your chance to win the biggest fan, go to 97.3 The Fan SD/biggest fan. Then sit back, wait for your name to be called either in the morning by Ben and Woods, in the midday with the coach John Quintera, or with us when we remember to do so on Gwynn and Chris.
That's the true story.
Yeah, I know. I just told that with Adam Klug within earshot. I shouldn't have done that. All right, here we go with Chris versus the fans. Prizes be giving out as well here.
Oh, it's me.
That's you.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
In the chat, I would like to say I have a little bit of support here in the YouTube stream chat. Matt says, I get it, Skraby. I didn't do that, but I get it.
I wasn't as dumb as you.
That's a great comment.
But I
Matt.
appreciate you saying you understand it. Daniel said, I turned down a full scholarship to stay with a girl. It didn't work out. And then
Dang, a full scully?
yeah, and then Anthony says significant other should be last priority in college, in my opinion.
Big facts.
Going back in time, yeah, I think so.
You didn't have like mom or dad telling you like, don't. This is not what you should be doing, son.
You want to talk about?
Are you kidding? It almost ended my relationship with my parents.
I was about to say, because the one thing my parents kept telling me was like, listen, you go get your education, you go whatever school, the girl thing will figure itself out later.
My parents begged me to make the right decision and go to Colorado, and I did not listen to them. And you know what? They're in some sort of way they are good parents, because I learned the lesson the really hard way.
I mean, that's how we all learn most of our lessons, right? I love Matt's comment, by the way.
That I get it. I didn't do it, but I get it.
I get it.
Anyway.
All right.
I told you he might still be talking about it an hour from now.
Didn't even take an hour.
You have a chance to be qualified for a grand prize. 2-night stay, Resorts World, Las Vegas. 2 tickets, Luke Bryan, country music superstar, 5-time entertainer of the year. And this high-energy electric performance features only in Las Vegas production elements. His final show dates run December 29th through January the 6th. The tickets are on sale now at rwlasvegas.com, or you can win them right here in Chris vs. the Fans, which is brought to you by Tarpey Plumbing, Heating, and Air for Best HVAC. Is that
HVAC?
HVAC?
Yes.
I didn't want to take a chance since I did the, what was it? ST Hanks.
SFT Hanks.
Yeah, that was poor. For the best HVAC and plumbing services in San Diego and the surrounding areas, call Tarpey today.
And the rules, you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. What are you pointing at, Tony?
They got an interesting statistic up with Aaron Nola and Blake Snell. And the numbers are pretty much close except for WAR and innings pitched. But in this case, as a free agent, I think the innings pitch actually plays in Blake's favor.
Because he has more left.
He's got 300, almost 300 less innings than Aaron Nola.
That's a lot.
That's a ton.
That's a season's worth.
And
that's 2 seasons
Yeah, 2
nowadays.
seasons.
What did Nola get to stay with the Phillies?
7 for
I think it was 7,172.
Oh.
Wow.
Let's bring our first call. You haven't finished yet?
Did I read the rules? I don't know.
You read the rules.
Ever since I told that story, I'm blacked out because it's bringing back bad memories of how many people.
Do you care to share the name of the girl who ruined your life?
Never. No, she didn't ruin my life.
Come on.
She didn't ruin my life. She did nothing wrong.
Skraby is truly lost.
Yeah,
right now.
she did nothing wrong. I do not, for anyone who knows who she is, she did nothing wrong.
I'm sorry we made you.
You have to make it through 3 questions. I do it to myself. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. And if you're a first-time player, let us know. Before the first question, you get that one for free today.
All right, Brian, you are our first contestant. Come on down.
How you doing?
We're
Pretty
doing
good,
well,
Brian.
Here we go. First question. Where did my hurt fantasy league running back, Jonathan Taylor, where'd he go? Where'd he play college football at?
Oh. In Indiana?
Ooh.
I stood on a field in the dark with him one night. Qualcomm Stadium. The lights went out during the Aztec-Stanford game that year. I don't know if you remember. Don't remember that?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I do
Stanford
too.
is the answer.
No, it's not.
Was Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
Oh, am I thinking of the wrong guy?
I think you're thinking of Love, the running back Love.
Okay, I guess I am.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Jonathan Taylor. God, I am totally confused.
Oh, Brian, you
Good for you, Brian.
survived.
Yeah, good
On
for
to
you.
question number 2.
And now I got to go confirm.
Wow.
No, he
I
went to Wisconsin.
I just got
for
him. I just got to
I think you're thinking of Bryce Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, no, you didn't stand next to him in the dark. For
No,
sure. MLB Network's Dan O'Dowd was a GM for what team?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you got to be a baseballer for this one.
No idea.
That
Great team.
That team is often referenced on this show, but it's incorrect.
Yeah, he loves Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yes, he
Tony Gwynn
does.
Jr. put
Yes, he
his
does.
Colorado Rockies in the playoffs one year.
And he tells us every time he comes on the
Yes,
show.
he does. I don't mind.
Sorry,
hearing
Brian.
anything either. Yes, Dan O'Dowd was the Rockies GM. All right, we go to our next contestant, Hayden. Come on down.
What's going on, boys? How y'all doing?
Pretty
Doing
good,
well.
Hayden. Here we
Here
go.
we go. First question.
I'm waiting for, I guess not.
Devin Williams just won what award? I know this was put on there like 5 seconds ago.
Yes, it was.
Oh, geez.
Devin Williams.
We just talked about him.
Yeah.
Well, I tuned in like 11 minutes ago. I think you got me on this one. I got no clue.
Devin Williams.
It's not the hair award.
No, it's not. We salute
He
you,
could have
Devin.
won worst hair award. Reliever of the year.
Oh,
The
I'm
National
sorry.
League. Sorry
Hate
about that,
it.
Damon.
Remember when it was called like the Rolaids?
Yeah, I
reliever
like
of the
that.
year.
Rolaids relief man.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Rolaids was to
Was
give you
just-
relief. I thought it was
No,
a
I
good
get it.
connection there.
Very,
Just a weird
very
award.
clever.
It's
All right,
like
here we
when
go.
the only signs in the outfield were the gap.
That's
in the
right.
gap.
That's right.
They would put in the gap an ad for the gap. 'Cause it made sense. Now there's ads all over the fences.
Right, they get paid by everybody, not just
Right.
the Gap.
Yeah.
Anthony, you're our next contestant. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Hey, wasn't it the Rolaids Fireman?
It was
Might
the
have been,
Rolaids.
yeah, Rolaids
Rolaids
relief
fireman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Very
Chris.
good. Oh, stop.
Hey.
No, you're on to question
No,
number
you're
2,
cr-
Anthony.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Here we
I'm
go.
just
Question number 1. Padres' new manager, Mike Schilt, was formerly a manager for what team?
kidding. Don't sound so annoyed by the
Light,
question.
light work. Here we go. Question number 2. What current NFL QB did Jalen Ramsey once call trash?
Trash?
Trash, yeah.
Jeez. Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
Pretty good guess.
That
I
is
can
a
see
good
that,
guess.
actually.
I think Chris remembers this.
I don't.
Oh, wow.
Don't recall this, but I know who I would have called trash if I was Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, gosh. Which player does he hate?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
No.
Wow.
Good for you, Anthony. You're still alive.
Wow.
Who was it? I
Josh
forgot.
Allen.
Really?
Remember, it was like his first or second year.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like,
They called him trash.
Yeah,
God,
he
he's going to
did.
have to play against him in a couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
He sure is.
Yeah.
Here we go. Question number 3.
No more TMZ questions.
oh, we got plenty of those.
Oh, indeed. Which Illinois town did the Chicago Bears originally call home when they were established all the way back in 1919?
Chris's 21st birthday.
In Illinois.
1850.
Peoria.
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 I think Chris knows this.
He definitely knows.
Was it Decatur?
There it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ann.
Sorry about
Sorry,
that, Anthony.
Anthony.
Oh my gosh,
I was at the first. I was at the first game. Went with
Oh,
my went my uncle to Decatur Field.
Oh. Uncle Winston or something.
Yeah.
Are we doing a tiebreaker?
Yeah, we got to. We're
All
running
right.
out of time.
Brian?
No,
Are you
he's
there,
gone.
Brian?
He's
Brian's
gone.
not there. Wyatt, are you there, buddy?
Yes, I am. How
All
you guys
right.
doing?
We're doing
Pretty
well.
good.
All right.
Wyatt.
How about Sweet Lou Whitaker today?
I just
What
wanted to
happened?
know who the player for the
Oh.
tiebreaker.
Sweet Lou
Oh,
Whitaker.
yes, Sweet Lou. That's a great call.
All
He's a
right.
good player. for
Wait,
the
wait,
Tigers
wait.
back in the day.
Wyatt, do you know how the tiebreaker works?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right.
All
We're
right,
good to go.
perfect. So, Chris, the tiebreaker question for today will be this: how many hits did he have in his career?
Lou Whitaker played about 16 seasons.
I'd say
19.
28.
19.
From 77 to 95.
So he had at least 19.
Wow, and he played it for all with the same team.
Yes, he did.
Good player for the Tigers.
Tigers.
I bet he had 2,300 hits.
What?
2,300.
Oh, never mind. 2,300 is the actual answer. Higher or lower, Wyatt?
Let's go higher.
Higher.
Wow, Lou
Stay
Whitaker had a
there.
lot of hits.
Chris did a really good job on this
He was
one.
probably right at 2,300.
Yeah, a lot of hits.
2369.
Yeah.
2369.
Great guess, dude. For
Very
a dude
good.
who played 19 years, get that close.
He only,
Without
had,
seeing it.
he only had 8 hits in his first year. So
Sweet Lou is
he in the Hall of Fame?
He's not.
He's in the Hall of Very, very
yes,
good.
he is. That
Hall
was
of Very,
Alan
very
Trammell's double play partner.
That's right. We know that. Yeah.
Stay there, Wyatt.
Is Trammell in the Hall of Fame yet?
Yes, he
yes,
is.
he is,
He
because
got
we
in the
saw
last
him in
time.
Cooperstown. We
I
should
was
have
gonna
known.
say, is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Same guy.
All right, we got to get to break. When we come back, more Gwynn and Chris. What do we got?
We got NFL picks.
Yeah, that's
for the
right.
week
Gwynn and Chris
coming
NFL
up.
Pick'em.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Tell you what, guys, that South 15 is up to no good this afternoon. Got the stop.
I've been having so much fun on this show that I actually forgot the Laker game started at 4:00. And I just turned it on, and the Lakers are winning. So that's a good thing.
Wow.
Meanwhile, during the break, Skraby, you got a phone call.
I did.
I got a text.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Who'd you
I
get a
did
text from?
I'm not going to reveal who it was, but it was someone close to me.
Well, Tony might reveal it.
It was my mom. She said, "Oh, you finally admitted it, huh?" See, this is the problem. This is the problem with being on the radio.
You weren't lying about it being a contentious situation with the fam.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Like, I would love.
Is this delving a little deeper into this?
Oh gosh,
the angst that this all caused you way back when.
Does this have any reason why I drink?
No. Does it have any reason why you hate Deion Sanders and Colorado?
It brings up some bad memories.
No,
it's not failed to go to Colorado.
I will say, every time I see Colorado, every time I see the campus, I think, man, I would have had a great time there.
I think that, and I had a great time at San Diego State every time I see that Boulder campus.
So
I
like,
think that every time. Like, man, that would probably be pretty cool to go there.
If your kid came to you, Tony, one of your kids, and they were going to college, and then they said, "Hey, I don't want to go to that school anymore because of my boyfriend,"
I would lose my mind.
But would you ultimately
throw them
make
in the back of the
decision?
car and you would drive them to that school?
100%. You're going to the school.
My parents pulled out the stops. They basically said, "All right, you don't want to go, you pay rent." I said, "Okay."
You were dead set on staying.
They said, "All right, you don't want to go, you pay for your own cell phone." I said, "All right,
fine, check."
Okay, we've taken away two things from him now. You have to buy your own car. Okay, I'll buy my own car.
Man,
I did all those things.
So you could have got your own car.
They weren't going to buy me a car,
but they would have helped.
No.
Okay,
no.
so
I was driving one of theirs.
That was a Fugazi beat.
Well, they wanted to.
That was a Fugazi.
They wanted to take away. They wanted to just.
They wanted you to go
consequences
to school.
for me not going to school, and I kept telling them that
I would drive my daughter to wherever.
Ultimately, after she's 18, you can't control her.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, if you're living under my ceiling.
That means no matter what boyfriend Tony's daughters have, he's going to have them break up before they turn 18.
Right.
So he didn't have that issue.
At least that's how it plays out.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, the real world's a little bit more messy than that.
In my mind, it plays out like that. It probably doesn't go anything like that.
Right. Yeah. Good luck.
All right. Can we get away from my 18-year-old?
Let's go to Gwynn and Chris Pick'em.
Should have been ready for this.
Okay, NFL fans, it's time for NFL Pick'em. But not like boring Pick'em like all the other sports radio shows. We see who's the best in Gwynn versus Chris. NFL Pick'em edition on 97.3 The Fan. The Fan.
All right, Tony had to do his lead last week. He's been leading all season in our Pick'em game. The score now is 81-69. I have 12 points to try and make up. I'm running out of time. It is Tony's pick. 3-point game, 2-point game, 1-point game, and then an upset pick. We start with the 3-pointer. Tony, who do you feel most confident in winning this week?
I'm going to take a home team to start.
You never do.
No, I don't. I'm going to go with Jacksonville over Cincy.
Jacksonville over Cincinnati. Cincinnati's looking a little worse without Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, ain't it?
A little different deal. I'll take Dallas Cowboys for my 3-point game against Seattle, although is Dallas that good? They haven't beaten a team with a winning record yet.
Yeah, that's what scared me away from
this. Will be their first victory over a team with a winning record if they get it on Thursday Night Football. All right, 2-point game, Tony. Who do you like here?
Give me the Dolphins.
Miami.
On the road.
On the road. They also, you know what I said last week? They hadn't beaten a team with a winning record. They haven't beaten a team with a winning record when they played them. Denver now has a winning record,
right.
So that actually counts as a victory over a winning team from Miami. All right, Dolphins. Next up for me, I'll try. Man, I can't put anything on the Chargers.
Absolutely not.
Especially if they're flying across country. Pittsburgh at home. Mike Tomlin normally gets the job done in games like this. So I'll go with the Pittsburghers.
Pittsburghers
over Arizona. Although Kyler Murray still scares me.
He does.
I mean, he can run around and make some crazy things happen. I'll take Pittsburgh. All right, 1-point game. Tony.
I'm betting on Mahomes. Give me Chiefs on the road.
Chiefs.
At Green Bay.
All right, you got them. And 1 point for me. Tampa Bay is favored by 5 over any team. That's a surprise. Should I take so I could just take the Eagles. That would be my upset pick. The 49ers are favored over the Eagles. The Eagles are 10-1. It's so weird. I'm going to take I'll take the Chargers. New England's done. I mean, just so I can get mad at Brandon Staley again on Monday when he blows another game. Up. Yeah. All right, upset pick, Tony. Who do you like to win straight up? Team that's underdog.
Let's ride.
Denver Broncos.
Give me Denver at Houston.
3-pointer if you're correct. I need to make up some ground. I toyed with the idea of taking Washington over the Dolphins. That would be worth 9. I think Washington can give them a game, but ever since they cut loose all their defensive linemen, they haven't even been
close
the same as they were at the beginning of the year. And Miami could put a lot of points up in that game. So I will take Green Bay. I'll take a shot at them on Monday night. Kansas City keeps winning these close games. Maybe they're due to lose one. So I'll take Green Bay. I need the 6 points to get back in the hunt. Or I think it's Sunday night. I said Monday night. All right, there's our picks for this week. Take them or leave them. We have a big 5 when we come back.
Previously on the John Cantero Show.
Right now, the Aztecs, they have 11 commitments. I saw 3 of their players entered
reaction to a Laker broadcast. That's because the Lakers are just absolutely toying with the Detroit Pistons. It's 38-19 in the first quarter.
Still a minute and 14 to go.
Yeah, LeBron ought to just sit the rest of this one out. Get some rest. Pistons are gonna lose their 15th game in a row tonight. Yikes. All right, welcome back, Gwynn and Chris. 4:37 is the time. Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., and Matt Skraby, who is about to regale us with a Big Five today.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else.
No.
Never mind.
Have you recovered from the last couple of segments?
Maybe
yeah,
you should too.
No, I still working on that one, guys.
Yeah.
She really hurt my heart.
Seems
Broken
like
heart.
Seems like it.
Okay, yes, I am over it. I don't like.
What year was that?
2003.
20
year anniversary.
Years ago.
Hey, let's go
20-year
celebrate
anniversary
tonight.
of my heart being broken.
Let's go
Thank you.
celebrate tonight.
You know what? She actually broke up with me on a day I'll never forget. It was
Is this going to take the whole segment as well? Okay.
No. It was February.
A day you'll never forget. I'm surprised that any person could remember the day the love of their life broke up with them.
Well,
really.
she's not
So
the love of
surprised.
my life because she
Clearly.
is not. But she broke up with me on February 29th. She couldn't even do it on a regular day. She had to do it on a leap
So you
day.
only get to celebrate that every 4 years? Scrape?
No, I just get to remember that there was one day on February 29th that I got broken up with.
Oh,
So who chooses February 29th?
Who
This-
chooses
this-
February
This
29th?
young lady, apparently.
All right, I'm over it now.
No, you're not. You are far from over it, but you must get to traffic and a Big Five anyway.
97.3 The Fan Traffic Center. Here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest rated heating and air conditioning company. Got a collision partially blocking the University Avenue on-ramp to southbound 15. Overturn crash, Taylor Street off-ramp, westbound 8. Traveling on the northbound 5. Got an accident at Main and Division. It's over the right shoulder, but fire crews got that slow lane blocked. Then, care to guess what's up ahead near Cesar Chavez Parkway? A ladder reported in the slow lane. Southbound side of the 805 near Murray Ridge. There is a collision in the center divide. Car and motorcycle involved. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,100 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
And this hour is brought to you by the Caltrans Stormwater Program. Visit cleanwaterca.com. Let's change this to that by picking up after our pets, reducing pesticide use, and regularly servicing vehicles. Learn how at cleanwaterca.com. That's cleanwaterca.com from the Caltrans Stormwater Program. All right. I don't know if you guys heard this morning about the big announcement of an event coming to San Diego.
Number 5.
Are you aware of this, Chris?
I don't know. Is your next date going to take place in San Diego?
I opened myself up for this.
Big event coming up.
It's my next day. I see. Yeah, that would be a big event,
Yeah.
to be honest. San Diego's looking at having another big time sporting event coming to town, and that would be CONCACAF, the Women's Gold Cup. They have announced that 4 venues in 3 U.S. cities will host matches of the 2024 CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup. BMO Stadium, and Dignity Health Sports Park in LA, Shell Energy Stadium in in Carson, Shell Energy Stadium in Houston, Texas, and Snapdragon Stadium here in San Diego. They're going to all host multiple match dates. Now, this announcement comes after CONCACAF confirmed that the tournament's final on Sunday, March 10th, was awarded to Snapdragon Stadium. So they will have the final of this. This made me think about one thing.
When is it?
March 10th.
Oh,
Sunday.
Next year?
Yes.
Next season or next year.
Yeah, beginning part of the year.
Okay.
This made me think about one thing, and that would be supporting the upcoming MLS San Diego FC team. It's clear that major tournaments like this, like San Diego, but Tony, do you think the people of San Diego will show up for the MLS team?
That's a separate question from the
CONCACAF was just to bring
CONCACAF.
up that there's more events coming to town.
I got you. Yes, I do. I don't know to what capacity, but I think it'll do well. I think Emma got a smirk on your face.
Cesar tweeted me, she broke up with you on February 29th, so you would only remember every 4th year, which is true.
Yeah, she was trying to save
She's
your
trying to really save your heartbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they will support it. For one, you know the owner pretty well. Plays third base for your local baseball team. One of the owners, and Manny Machado.
Oh, I was like, trying to think for it. I was like, man, who am I missing
Skraby
here?
was lost there. I do think I think soccer is popular in this city, whether it's men, women's, or whatever. I think people are going to come out to support that MLS team for sure.
Chris,
San Diego FC, right?
Yeah.
Are we calling it SDFC?
I will, just for the heck of it.
Okay.
Chris, do you think the people of San Diego will show up for SDFC? That's kind of hard to say, actually.
I do. I think we're desperate for a major league team too in this city. I mean, we only have one, so this is at least 1A. Yeah, I think they'll have a good solid 20,000. I don't know that the stadium will be overflowing every Saturday or Sunday. It will be when Messi comes and big names like that, of course.
I mean, they're still 2 years away from that. Is Messi even going to be playing?
I don't know.
That's true. He could not be
saying.
playing, but if he is, that ticket is going to pay for all of your season tickets.
I'm lining up for a media pass right now.
Yeah, mine as well.
Yes.
Number 4.
I've seen this topic come up a few times, and it has to do with Shohei Ohtani and writers thinking he has already done enough to be a Hall of Famer. The MLB.com article by Anthony Castrovince said even if he can never pitch again or pitch to the level that he has, if he never pitches to that level again, he has done enough to put himself in the Hall of Fame in just 6 major league seasons. Chris, has Ohtani already secured his spot in Cooperstown?
I'm inclined to say yes.
Really?
And I'm never inclined to say
No,
that
you're
after
not.
such a short amount of time. Because normally I like 10 seasons of domination. But he's had 6 seasons of domination. Rookie of the year, 2 MVPs, finished second the other time. That's a pretty good sustained run of success. And then you add to it his pitching exploits. So, yeah, I think if he stopped playing tomorrow, he'd get some serious consideration for it. I do.
All right. Tony, what do you think? Do you think he's done enough to get himself in Cooperstown already?
The way that article was written and the way you explained it sounds as though they assume offensively, at least, he'll still be in that same realm. And if that's the case, I don't know, it's a no-brainer. But if he's not able to pitch again and he doesn't do anything like comparable, and there's no reason to think that he won't offensively, then I don't think he's done enough. But assuming that even if he doesn't pitch, he still can hit the way he has, yes, he will be a Hall of Famer.
All right. I mean, I do think it's kind of crazy.
Plus, I don't want to see another Dodger going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, he might be in trouble then if he signs there.
You might be in trouble. All right. Let's move on to the
Number 3.
Do you guys remember when Tyreek Hill did a backflip on the field, but he grabbed one of the cameraman's phones, and there was someone standing on the sideline behind the end zone, and Tyreek Hill scores a touchdown. He goes over there, he grabs his cell phone, he does like a backflip with the cell phone, and then this kid got like amazing footage of Tyreek Hill doing a backflip on his cell phone. Chris, you remember this? You have to.
I remember it. Yeah.
Okay, well, now
I think he got fined for it.
Yeah, he gets
which
fined
is
for a lot of
pretty
things.
typical.
Tyreek's that whole celebration was costly for one NFL employee. Cameraman Kevin Fitzgibbon said the league suspended him for the season and, quote, possibly for good for allowing Hill to use his camera as part of the theatrics. The NFL confirmed to, this is coming from a New York Post article, the NFL did confirm to the Post that Fitzgibbon has his credential pulled for the rest of the season. He said,
so this was set up ahead of time by Tyreek Hill and this camera guy.
I don't think so.
I thought you said he just took somebody's phone.
No, Tyreek came over to the guy. He was just standing there, and I think he was filming with his phone, like doing something. Tyreek walked up to him, saw the
I know
phone,
what
grabbed it out
happened,
of
but
his
why is this guy getting
exactly
Because the
kicked out of
NFL
the-
is
Here, he said, they said regardless if I knew the celebration was coming or not, I still had to be disciplined and I shouldn't have jumped on the sidelines after the play. He's wearing an NFL media shirt. So anyway.
So wait. I only remember Tyreek grabbing the phone and doing the backflip. So are you saying that this cameraman was involved in the celebration?
I'm not getting that.
Okay.
I'm not getting that.
It sounds because
He's being
looked,
kicked out of the league because he let Tyreek Hill snatch his phone out of his hand
Here
and
it
do a
is. Here's
selfie.
his final quote. This gentleman, Fitzgibbons. Tyreek scored a touchdown in the same exact corner of the end zone that I was filming in. He noticed me and surprised me by grabbing my phone and doing a backflip. It was the coolest moment ever, and I ran in the tunnel to send the clip to the NFL.
NFL is a piece of work.
Jokesters.
Piece of work for this.
Guy is doing
So
nothing
you
wrong.
take his credential because a NFL player in the middle of a game snatches his phone and takes video of himself, gives it back. He sends you the film directly.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see Tyreek Hill reach out for the phone and the guy go,
No,
I can't because the NFL is going to suspend me.
I'm going to get fired. When Tyreek did this, I thought
terrible.
this video is some of the best video you could
That
ever
you'll
get.
ever have.
Ever.
Gold.
So the question, Tony, and you've already answered this, is the cameraman at fault here?
No, the NFL are some suckers for this one. No, they really are. Like, not only I might have been able to swallow a week or two you suspending him, but to remove his credit because this happened 2 weeks ago?
I think it was week 6.
It was a while
He's
ago.
been suspended that long?
And maybe for good. And he's 20 years old too.
That's
He's just
brutal.
He's
That's
wearing
brutal.
an NFL media shirt, so it looks like he's credentialed to be in that area. He sent the video to the NFL.
I really hope that there's a piece of this story that we're
not hearing,
because that's I think that's brutal.
That is
NFL,
brutal.
shame on you, NFL.
You're killing this kid's career before it even starts.
Did they use the footage? The NFL? That's what because that's some stuff that the NFL would do.
Oh, I can't say yes or no, but I'm
That's
sure
brutal.
that they did. Chris, you already said this, but is the cameraman at fault here?
No, I don't think so.
No. Yeah, this is brutal.
Number 2.
Since we talked about Bears quarterback Justin Fields yesterday and how he struggled on Monday night, this topic fits. The Bears have 2 major options with the NFL draft early next year. They can either trade the number 1 overall pick or soon-to-be number 1 overall pick they got from the Panthers and get a king's ransom from a team that wants that number 1 pick. Or they can just keep Justin Fields and draft someone like Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 1 overall, keep Justin Fields and work towards the future. Chris, what would you do if you are the Bears GM?
Based on what he looked like Monday night, I would try to find anyone who would take him in trade, and then
You're talking Justin Fields.
Yes, and then I would hang on to the number
GM.
1 pick, and I'd get Caleb Williams. That's what I would do.
Okay. All right. No. Tony, what would you do?
I've waffled on this a little bit.
You've waffled.
Yeah, I definitely thought after watching that game, they should move on and get a different quarterback. But then I remembered how he played before he hurt his hand and had to miss a few weeks and how he finished up last season. And the one thing that still remains outside of DJ Moore, he has nothing. I mean, the offense, Minnesota was in the backfield most of that game, which is why he was running around getting the ball knocked out of his hands all game long.
Yeah.
So I think it probably would be, they would be closer and it would be a shorter build if they go out and address the other things they need. Offensive line, some more weapons, Marvin Harrison Jr. being one of them. And then, worst come to worst, if it still doesn't work, at least you have the other pieces in play. Going out, trading for a quarterback at that point might be an easier thing than maybe trading all these picks away or the pick away so you could, trading Fields away.
Yeah.
And trying to bring Caleb Williams in which you still are deprived of all the other weapons that he's going to need.
Yeah, that's true.
He might turn around and look like Fields if they keep the same offensive line that they got.
I don't know that I'm into Caleb Williams.
I don't even want to hear
I don't
you
know.
talk about.
He's a
Cam
great
Wade.
football player, but I don't know.
He's a bad human being, huh?
I did not say that.
Just making sure.
He actually was a really great actor in the commercial that I saw the other day.
the Allstate commercial.
Yes, he's actually really good in that. I gotta say, it kind of changed my opinion on him because he was so good. All right.
Number 1.
Did I ask Chris?
Yes, he started.
Okay. Did you guys see the email from our engineer JR this morning about the dishwasher?
I did not.
Okay, so this is the email from JR, and I just want to celebrate him here in the final moments of the Big Five because he said
JR deserves all celebration.
yes, he does. He said, "Morning all. There still seems to be some confusion as to how the dishwasher works." And
I can hear his voice.
he sent a picture of a bunch of cups just lying around on the counter and in the sink. And then he said, "Unfortunately, we do not have the auto load feature, so you'll have to manually open the door and insert your dirty dishes into the dishwasher." Again,
What?
please understand that
I've
we
been
do
leaving
not-
them out on the counter expecting them to just jump in.
We do not have an auto load feature. You, in all caps, have to put them in the dishwasher. And then he shows a very nice looking dishwasher with clean dishes in it. And he said, "Okay, fine. Okay, fine, JR." So I bring this up because this is something that I think about every single day when I walk into this place.
Sure, I believe you.
Every day.
I believe
Just
you.
consumes you. Huh?
And the reason that I don't even use dishes, if I do, I'm washing it and I'm putting it back because sometimes this sink has about 400 dishes in it.
Yeah.
Cups, silverware, plates, food.
It's impressive for a staff of like 9 people.
And I'm going to say who
I mean, we have
usually does
no
this.
one works in here. I don't know who puts all those dishes in the sink.
Are you about to throw somebody under
The
the bus?
sales staff is the one who uses the dishes. So my question here is because
okay.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Tony, why do you think people are not able to clean up after themselves outside of their home?
You know, that is a question society has been asking for.
A lot of people
hundreds and
can't
hundreds
clean up
of
with
years.
themselves in
At-
their own
at
home.
home,
Yeah,
right.
let alone.
Yeah, this was a big reason why I stopped having roommates. You
Because
know,
of the dishes thing.
I can't stand. I'm okay with it just staying in there for 24 hours, maybe 48.
But like
for like a week,
6 weeks?
Yeah, that's not cool, man. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think people, it's like a break. I'm not in my house, so I'm finna act up, basically.
I guess so. It's the same with the bathrooms. We all use the same bathrooms.
Let me ask you this question. This is an aside to what you're asking.
Okay.
It's being messy in public. When you go to the movies, do you clean up after yourself?
I do.
How about at the ballpark?
I do.
Come on.
I don't throw stuff on the ground.
Really? You don't you never had like peanuts and you clean up
Peanuts?
every single shell?
No, peanuts. If I have peanuts,
That's
I will,
okay to just throw on the
but
ground and leave.
if I have a cup, I will make sure I have some sort of cup because I don't like having
Chris is
to make
poking holes.
people. No, I don't like having to make people sweep up my mess. It's not their mess.
I know when I go to
But you're in the minority because 90% of the people just drop their
I get
shells
it,
right on
and
the
I'm not
ground.
mad at them for that because that is an accepted practice at the game.
Right.
But in a work
Environment.
kitchen,
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
dishes should not stack up for weeks.
Skraby got that in his big 5 right
I
there,
really
ladies
just
and
wanted
gentlemen.
to honor JR.
No, you didn't. You wanted to rant, is what you wanted to do.
And I got it done. And I got it done.
Shout out to JR.
Good questions, though, Chris. You almost got me there. You don't believe that I take my trash with me?
I don't think too many people do. I think most people leave their stuff at the movies, and I think most people leave their stuff at the ball game.
Definitely at the ballpark. At the movies, I'm a family of 6, so we kind of make sure
You make sure they clean
pick
up a little bit?
Yeah.
Takes like 20 minutes
My
after
kids
the
are
movie.
messy, too.
You're almost in stay for the next movie.
All right, 5 o'clock hour. Rate the radio call in that 5 o'clock hour.
2 NFC playoff hopefuls
all of our fans host. If you want a chance to have your name called to register for our grand prize, visit 973thefansd.com/biggest-fan today. The Biggest Fan Contest is presented by the San Diego Seals. Tickets are on sale now at sealslax.com.
Bueno.
Aztecs, new head coach, Sean Lewis, had his press conference today, and by all accounts, in terms of the press conference itself, he hit a home run. And we got to hear from him earlier. However, we did not get to hear. I know he hit a home run, but we didn't get to hear from AD JD Wicker. And he was asked about his vision for this program.
And it took him a moment to think of his answer, apparently.
During our discussions with Sean, it was clear his vision of how to establish a program and culture will fit well within our athletic department. A culture built around hard work, caring for each other, and dedication to the holistic development of the student athlete. Another stated goal of our search.
Yeah.
What does the holistic development of our athletes refer to? I don't.
I think holistic.
I'm not intelligent enough to get that. Unfortunately.
I before I speak on it, let me just make sure I know
Look
exactly
at the
what I'm
definition
talking
of
about.
holistic. You don't. Basically, you're telling me is you don't know what he means either.
Well, no, I do, but here's the. I didn't know how to explain it. Here's the definition of holistic: relating to or concerned with wholes or with complete systems, rather than with analysis of, treatment of, or dissection into parts.
Okay, so that speaks to everybody's. I think it speaks to everybody's. I guess. Issue with the offense, right? And everybody wanting to have an offensive-minded coach. And I think what JD is trying to say in his interview with Sean is that he didn't get the feel that it was just about the offense. He was talking about it from an approach of
very nice, Tony.
Whole program.
Very nice. That was
you guys are pretty good.
That was a brilliant breakdown because I had no idea what that was. No,
I bumped into JD Wicker at the women's basketball game last night.
Oh yeah, how'd it go?
Well, I just said hello, shook his hand. I think he was waiting for me to ask him like who the next football coach was going to be.
You didn't ask him?
We already knew.
I know, but I didn't know that he knew that we knew.
So you just left it alone?
So I just kind of thought it was uncomfortable. So yeah, I let it go.
JD Wicker was also asked about hiring an offensive innovator and how much of a goal that was for him.
Having this type of offensive innovator, it's very clear that it was one of our stated goals that this is what we wanted to do. So we're excited to have someone with this type of influence, this type of history, calling San Diego State home. And while improving on the offensive side of the ball is a goal, playing great defense, as the Aztecs have done over the past 15 years, is something that Sean articulated well and understands that's a benchmark of what our program has been.
That's going to be the interesting part, I think, for Sean Lewis, right? Is he's following two defensive-minded coaches that had success on that side of the ball. You come in and as an offensive coach, how do you maintain that? Or can you keep some semblance of what you have been able to build this program on? Or is it just a straight pivot to offense? It'll be interesting if he can kind of put that all together there, Chris.
I'm wishing him all the best. I think it's got to be on the field. It's going to have to be off the field. Yeah. I mean, he's going to have to be Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey.
Do you think this job
sell this football program in this town? He's got to go 11-0, and he's got to be, everywhere in the community, right? He's got to look good doing it. He's got to still sell tickets. It's going to be a Herculean task. The only thing I will tell him is that it's been accomplished before.
I was about to ask you, is this as big of a job, a bigger job than
Steve Fisher
had?
The one way I think it's bigger than Steve Fisher, because basketball always has a chance to win the national championship, even though where San Diego State was ridiculous to ever have that notion. You are still competing at the, quote, highest level. College football, San Diego State, I don't believe is allowed to compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
But beyond that, he's got an easier job than Steve Fisher had, because there were like
Steve Fisher was going from scratch.
He was going from crickets in Peterson Gym to the national championship game, under Brian Dutcher. But of course, we know Fisher laid the foundation. There was no one at any games.
No.
And they were like coming off a season where they were no better than 2-29.
One conference win, I think.
Near his first season, they won 0.
They won 0.
Steve
right.
Fisher's first season, they didn't win a single conference game. He survived that whole season, walking around campus with Brian Dutcher, looking for people like you suckers who would take a ticket to go to the game.
Suckers.
And all of us, from there,
we had a
grew.
blast, though. I tell you that. It wasn't.
I went to a lot of college basketball games when I was a student. Smokey Gaines was the head coach, and he was Barnum and Bailey and Ringling Brothers and all those people. He was quite the salesman. That team was actually pretty good because your dad was on it, and Michael Cage, and some people who could play. But still, it was fun because you could sit right there on the floor.
That was the best part.
You had a
about being
great
a
seat.
student.
You're watching college basketball as a college student. You were right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Steve Fisher did it, so it is possible, but it was not easy. Good luck.
JD,
I would meet with Brian Dutcher if I were Sean Lewis. That would be not that he's not going to, but that would be a smart move to sit down with him and go, okay, how did you guys do what you did?
Because Dutch's he was right
there
right alongside.
So how
Coach
did you
Fisher.
do what you did? Because I need to try and do something similar.
JD was asked. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I guess there's something wrong with the stream and the name of the biggest fan that we said. Some people didn't hear it. So Stephen Shipley of El Cajon, that was your name. 833-288-0973.
Stephen Shipley.
Stephen Shipley.
You're being called.
Yes.
The shipper.
The
shipper.
Probably the most important question JD was asked was why Sean was right for the job.
Sean has a proven track record as an offensive innovator, running an up-tempo offense nicknamed the Flash Fast during his tenure as head coach at Kent State University. A balanced offense that produced nearly identical rushing and passing totals in 2021 of 3,425 yards passing and 3,482 yards rushing, both school records, and you really can't get much more balanced than that. Sean led Kent State to its only bowl win in history and has spent time at several institutions that ran dynamic offenses.
I apologize. I thought JD was asking questions, but it sounds like he's reading right there.
A statement?
A statement.
It does sound more like a statement.
Oh, yeah.
If he was asked questions at this point.
I guess I should have said that to you guys.
No, you just fine.
But yeah, it was his opening statement that he had prepared, and I just cut it up because it was kind of long.
Yeah, so this was a prepared statement from JD Wigger. But either way, he answered those what would have been those questions in his statement, and the Aztecs, of course, have their guy in Sean Lewis.
We got one more Sean Lewis clip, and it's all about excellence. So here it is.
I expect excellence in all three phases of our football program, that it's not just going to be offense, it's not just going to be defense, it's not just going to be special teams, but the teams that compete for championships consistently, the way that we are going to, the young men and the way in which they are going to lead their lives, the way that we are going to dominate our rivalries, and the way that we are going to dominate the league and play for CFP games and titles year in and year out. We are going to be great in all of those areas. I'm a big believer in knowing who you are, clearly defining that so we can establish the culture that we're going to chase.
Know who you is. What my pops used to tell me sound like Sean Lewis. Subscribe to the same thing. he might have heard that from Dion. But yeah, Aztecs with the new head coach, and at least today, it's a win. We'll see if that transitions to the actual gridiron.
Looking forward to the next win. One of those big name recruits who left Colorado comes here.
I'm seeing a little pushback on the stream here of Mountain West Championships. LOL.
Wait. What's the pushback?
About the just about he wants to win Mountain West Championships. It's not
what's wrong with that
for this commentator. That's not good enough for them. But I like this
what's
guy.
going to be good enough? National championships about the only thing else out there. That's not really out there for the Aztecs.
Exactly.
But I like before you walk. Anyway,
I like that he is thinking that way. Like he's not limiting himself to where the Aztecs are.
What's interesting is whether it's high school, college, or even the pros, right? I know the big goal is obviously World Series, national championship, CIF championship in high school. But in my experience, the good coaches talk about winning their conference divisions. Those things have to happen first, usually.
And those are things that are under your control.
And they're under your control.
In the San Diego State football situation, the national championship is not in your control.
It's literally out of your control.
13-0, win every game by 30 points. They're still picking Alabama for the playoff over you.
Without a doubt.
Just, that's just how life is in college football.
And quite frankly, the smaller, quote unquote, smaller schools, that's how you're going to get noticed, is by consistently winning your conference, like every year, year in, year out. And it still doesn't guarantee you a chance or an opportunity to play for a national championship, but that's where it starts.
But who's been the most successful college football program in the Mountain West over the last 15 years?
Outside of state?
No, I don't think state is.
Boise?
I think Boise is the answer there, and I think that they're more on a national scale than we are.
And how do they get there?
By winning the thing every year.
Every year.
And if they don't win it, they're the team you have to beat to win it.
Right.
So that's where the Aztecs, they can control getting to there.
Absolutely.
And I mean, Boise State is a pretty, big time, legit college football program. I mean, they got a little fortunate in the sense that they took part in all this during a time when you could go to the Fiesta Bowl and beat Oklahoma, which was a great moment in Mountain West history.
Another one of my former high school teammates in that game, Vinny Peretta.
I thought you were over there in a deep depression because of what happened 20 years ago.
I'm thinking about high school over here. I had remembering my teammates. I believe Vinny Peretta was the one who threw the touchdown at the end of the game, or
the
Statue of Liberty.
I don't know. He's such a good friend of yours. Just call him and ask him what he did.
Oh, he lost my number.
Oh, he lost your number. All right. Let's get to break. When we return, we got one of our favorite segments. Rate the Radio Call on Gwynn and Chris.
Did you miss anything from your favorite fan talk show? The Odyssey app's chaptering feature allows you to skip any segment you want on 97.3 The Fan.
Hi, gang. Skinny Chris here for the group there at sdfatloss.com. The Los Angeles, Anthony Davis, not only playing, but playing well. 19 points, 9 rebounds.
I like when my histrionics doesn't have to.
No histrionics today.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell's having a big game also. 18 points, 8 of 10 shooting. In the first half, LeBron's already in double figures for the 1 millionth straight game. Now, you have to go back to like almost his rookie season or his second season. The last time he didn't score double figures. That is remarkable.
I think
that there isn't one night that he just scores 8 points.
I think in the list of players that have played 21 years in the league, I think prior to this year, the top score was like 7.8 points a game. And he is just blowing that away right now. I don't think it's going to drop either.
How old is he now? 30?
He's a year older than me, so 39.
39. Woo. With some mileage, too.
Amazing.
Amazing.
He's played more minutes than any other player in history. The last time he failed to score 10 points, January 5th, 2007.
Before the chat gets on me, he will turn 39 December 30th.
I thought he was 38.
Yeah.
2007, though, guys. 16 years last time he did not score 10 points in a game. Crazy.
That is insane.
That's nuts.
Because, like,
I just think there'd be one
automatic
night.
10 plus every time he steps on the court.
One night you just don't have it.
Right. Well, the night he didn't do it 16 years ago, he went 3 of 13 and scored 8 points. I mean, that's a game that guys have from time to time. That's
before he figured out how to draw fouls. So he was getting straight buckets at that point. Like he wasn't getting to the line a whole bunch. He was just out athleting you. Athletically, I don't know how to say that. Athletic. No, not gonna try it again.
Yeah, give it one more shot. Come on.
Athletic you. Out athletic you.
Out athleticize you.
No.
No.
Trying to make it
new.
I was trying new.
No good.
Out athletic you.
Are we ready, Chris?
We are. Let's go.
Oh, I didn't expect for you to say
You just asked him if you were ready.
From the really, really good
Back to the wall. It's gone. Home run, Derby, and there will be tomorrow.
to the really, really bad.
Wide open. He throws. It's caught. Nixon streaking down the sideline to the 20. Gets a block from Chase and runs it into the end.
We got some radio calls. Gwynn and Chris are going to rate them.
Right-handed hitter back in there. Strasburg ready to go.
It's Rate the Radio Call.
A 1-2 pitch slider. Strike three called. A no-hitter.
On 97.3 The Fan.
You may have to change that now, where you have the bad, and then the Cincinnati cat pops up because we no longer think it's bad.
Yeah, we kind of like him.
Kind of like him.
Oh, hey,
hey, look out! There he goes. Go. Yeah, we kind of like that. We've come full circle on that.
Yes, we kind of have.
I think you might have to find another example of bad. Maybe we'll find it today.
Maybe we will.
All right.
I think we may because
really. You got an especially bad one coming up?
I do. Rate the Radio Call. I go through and I find some calls from around the country in the last week or so. The guys rate it between 1 to 10 on, we don't really have a rating scale anymore, but they just basically give a 1 to 10 score of what they think about the call. So this first one is between South Florida and Charlotte, a barn burner down there in Florida. It was 18 seconds left in the first half. The USF Bulls have the ball. And here's what the caption said. I'm going to tell everybody where I got this clip from, at Bubba Prague on Twitter.
Oh, man.
I love this guy. He doesn't do it as much anymore, but he posts a lot of these play-by-play things. But here's his caption.
Bubba Prague?
Yeah, Bubba Prague. Radio play-by-play announcers are tasked with painting a picture for listeners of what is happening on the field. This is not that. So here is.
This might be it right here.
So here is the South Florida call.
Looking long downfield, can't find anything, flushed out of the pocket, dumps it off short, it's intercepted by the Bulls at the 35-yard line. 9 seconds left in the half. It's Daquan Evans. If he gets around the corner, he might get all the way in. Evans is going to go to the end zone. There is a flag down. Evans scores. Zeros on the clock, but we're going to have to wait for the flag.
All right, so a
What
lot
happened
happening
there?
on that play. A lot happening. I'm sorry, it was the Bulls on defense, the Charlotte, I think the 49ers on
I thought I heard a
offense.
train drive onto the field. At the end of that.
So, Chris, you're up first. 1 to 10, rate that radio call.
Well, that's poor. I mean, again, there's no description. The ball was intercepted, I believe, at the 35-yard line. After all kinds of things happened, the guy was in the end zone. It's what we try to say all the time. I mean, your job as a radio guy is to paint the picture. And as the person who sent this to you correctly pointed out, that was not accomplished here. So only a 4.
Only a 4.
Only
okay.
a 4.
Tony?
I still don't know what happened. And he rolled out at one point, and it sounded like he was trying to go deep, and then he went short. And
He went over the middle.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
the
get
interception.
I didn't get that in the description.
No.
This is
It's
a
not good.
confusing call. I'll give it a 3.
One of my favorite things to do is look at the comments. First comment on this call is from a guy who says, as a radio play-by-play guy, this is a horrible take from you. What is wrong with this call? So maybe they're doing their own rate the radio call right there.
I guess so.
Calm down, Mr. Play-by-Play man. All right, Alabama, Auburn. Great game. 43 seconds left. 4th and goal for Alabama at the 31-yard line. Alabama down 4. They have to convert on this. They have to score a touchdown.
That makes this play all the worse. It's 4th and goal.
It's 4th and goal.
From the 30
They couldn't even throw short.
chance.
They had to throw it in the end zone.
Last chance.
It's terrible.
And this is from the Auburn radio guy.
And no truth to the rumor that Marcus McNeil was playing cornerback
Yes,
on this
no
play.
truth.
The backfield for Jalen Milroe on 4th and goal from the 31. Milroe to throw out of the shotgun with time. Still with time. He looks. He throws to the back of the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown. Isaiah Bond with the catch.
Andy, what they did was they gave him so much time in the pocket, it allowed Isaiah Bond to get to the back of the line against one-on-one against DJ. And all Milroe did was hold the rest of the defense with his eyes and throw the ball to the back line and let his guy go up and catch it because DJ couldn't get his head turned around.
Please tell me that you guys can hear the
yes.
color guy in the back mumbling to himself. Oh my God! I can't
Yeah,
believe
he
this."
does do that. He does do that. He
Run
does.
that back,
Okay.
please.
Let me start it a little bit.
Goal from the 31. Milroe to throw out of the shotgun with time. Still with time. He looks. He throws to the back of the end zone. It is caught.
He's like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And now I have to comment on it.
Chris, you're up first. 1 to 10, rate that radio call.
I'll give it a 10 because of the color guy being able to get himself off the mat and explain what happened rather clearly. I mean, he was so depressed. You can hear him, saying, oh my goodness. And then he chimed in with a very clear explanation of why the play went wrong for Auburn. And I thought the guy who called it did a pretty good job. We understood what happened, and we can certainly understand the disappointment in his voice. So,
yeah,
I'm going to give it a 10.
All right. I'm also going to follow it up to 10 because he did, and having played with some SEC guys and know how hurt they get when their football team loses. He's on air, and although the first part snuck on air, I don't think he meant it to.
Oh my goodness.
He was able to get back.
I'm gonna start doing that when Skraby's on one of his diatribes.
Oh,
just be over here.
I'm gonna give him a 10 too.
All right. Another rivalry game, and this one between Michigan and Ohio State. Ohio State has the ball. They are driving. They are down 6 points. Michigan leads 30-24 with 32 seconds left. Here is Michigan radio.
McCord in a shotgun. Back to pass. Looking. Here comes the rush. He's hit as he throws, and it is intercepted. The Wolverines pick it off. It's the Ohio native, Rod Moore. And the Wolverines, if this counts, and I'm afraid it's going to get reviewed, but if it counts, Rod Moore has ended the ball game. There's flags all over the field.
Well, the flags are for celebration and for Jalen Harrell taking his helmet off.
Give me those buffs, baby.
All right, Tony, 1 to 10, rate that radio call.
I'll give it a 7.
All right.
It's a good call. Why is it that the color's first response, and it's probably because it's happiness, is like that laugh.
That is true.
It seems like no matter what school we're talking about, what
Very
team we're talking about,
joyous laugh.
it's just like a Santa Claus laugh.
Yeah. He does
chortle.
He does sound like he's got a bowl full of jelly.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Pretty happy.
All right, Chris, what do you think? 1 to 10.
I'm going to go 6. I like the tenor of the call. I couldn't picture the play though.
Okay.
I couldn't really picture where the ball was thrown. I know he was hit as he was thrown.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
He
I
did
don't
say
know
that.
where it got thrown to, over the middle, down the sideline. So I'd like to have a little explanation of that.
All
So I
right.
could picture it better.
Did you give a score? Sorry.
I gave it a 6.
6. All right. So this next one is from the other side, from the Ohio State side.
Oh,
and they are, again, they have the ball, 32 seconds
Are we
left.
going to hear the guy going, oh, no.
No, that's
Oh,
the
no.
Auburn guy. That's the
Oh,
Auburn guy.
okay.
We might hear it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Here's the Ohio State side of this call.
1st and 10, Ohio State of Michigan's 37.
Whoa.
McCord back to pass. Cocks the arm, hit while throwing upfield. Intercepted at the 21-yard line. Intercepted by Rod Moore. Michigan safety, and that's going to do it. And penalty flags thrown as Michigan was celebrating after the pick. Kyle McCord slow to get up. He does his second interception to the game. Rod Moore from Clayton Northmont High School in Ohio picks it off.
There you go. That's the call. Chris, 1 to 10. Rate it.
It's about the most matter-of-fact,
really
staccato broadcast I think I've ever heard. He could have very well just been announcing some person walking down the middle of the street reading a newspaper.
1st and 10, Ohio State.
I mean, this is the end of the game.
Got great
This is the
pipes.
last
Does.
drive. His pipes are fine, but this is it. You're driving down at the 21-yard line to win the Ohio State Michigan game. I got to give it a 5.
Wow.
I didn't like the voice.
Wow.
Sorry.
It's going down to the newspaper.
Yeah, I'm gonna say his pipes get him to 5 alone.
Mm.
I'm gonna give him a 7. I mean, his team lost, so I don't expect him to be
I
excited.
definitely expected him to be a little down after the pick, but leading into the pick, there should have been some hope, some exuberance.
Some exuberance.
Yeah, no,
Something.
He didn't have. He definitely didn't,
didn't
have
have that.
exuberance. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
All right. Real quick, because that's the last one. I got a DM during that, and it was about the trash being on the ground. We were talking about that earlier,
Yes.
whether or not I throw trash on the ground. This person, Mike, said, what about the mess in a Major League Baseball dugout? Did Tony leave cups on the floor when he played?
They're calling you out.
Early in my career, I did,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't do it all the time. I threw my cups away.
Okay, but there are guys in that
Have
dugout.
you seen the ground on
Yes,
a
it's
dugout? It's the
disgusting.
most disgusting. Don't fall.
Yeah, you don't
I
wanna-
can tell you that.
It's
Don't
really
don't
gross.
fall. Stick your hand in a puddle of
It's
spit.
got, yeah,
or
it's got like a layer of water.
This is one of the most disgusting places on the
It
planet.
is gross.
It is.
Anyway, I had to bring that up. So that was pretty brilliant.
Okay.
I was too busy playing like spin cup, trying to get my cup to stand. So yes, I left cups on the ground. You take
You
your cup,
spin
you
it, and it tries
you
to.
try to get it to land.
Yeah, you
its-
needed to be playing more.
me and everybody else.
Did you
was
play
sitting there.
tic-tac-toe with tobacco juice?
No. I wasn't much of a chewer. So.
Yeah, good for you. All right, break time, and then some more Gwynn and Chris. I believe we're going to play you our big-time fun interview with Xavier Scruggs, talking about new Padre manager Mike Schilt when we return.
This is Zach Gelb with Odyssey Sportsman, sponsored by Northern Tools. Start solving your projects today at northerntool.com. We're made for this. 79 days ago, Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. Today, the Jets opened his 21-day practice window. If Aaron isn't added to the active roster 3 weeks from now, his season is officially over. Even though it's inconceivable,
right before the 163 accident involving a couple vehicles. They're in the center divide, but good news, making your way through Hotel Circle. It looks a little better now. They cleared that accident at the Taylor Street off-ramp. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Our next guest really needs no introduction. I would like to say he's an up-and-coming broadcaster, but I think he's already arrived. Fellow Poway High Titan Xavier Scruggs joins us, ESPN MLB broadcaster. Xavier, how are you, man? How you been? How's the offseason treating you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I appreciate you guys having me on. I just got done actually taking kind of that first vacation that we've taken in a long time, family-wise, during Thanksgiving, kind of got away. So it's nice to be back home and kind of in the midst of all the craziness going on with baseball season now.
Well, first of all, it was well-deserved vacation. I don't know if there was a harder working man on the national stage, at least, than you. So well-deserved. Let's talk a little bit about this Padre hire. Mike Shildt, you, of course, had an opportunity to be around Mike at a young age. And I personally love this hire for the Padres. I think it's the perfect hire for him. But where do you come down on Mike Shildt and him being the Padres manager?
Yeah, I was excited to see the move. You know, first and foremost, San Diego is still where my heart is at. So I always want the best for the organization. And having been under Mike Shildt during my minor league days, and even while he was the major league manager with the St. Louis Cardinals, having opportunities to talk with him and keeping that personal relationship, I was excited to see it, mostly not necessarily so much for the aspect of him, you know, the X's and O's of the game and all that. I was more excited about the idea that, you know, the culture that he builds around him is extremely special. And I wanted people to understand that, because he's a leader that cares more about the person and wants the person, all the people around him, whether it be coaches, staff, players. He cares about those personalities. He knows how to communicate. You know, he cares about the players' well-being. And a lot of times, you know, we say that stuff, and it's you know, it can be cliche, but the fact that I got to experience it and see it for myself and kind of understand it on multiple levels as I played with him on multiple levels, I know how special it'll be for the San Diego community and the players within that clubhouse. Because if we're being quite honest and frank, like, that was one of the issues was, you know, that this quote unquote no leadership within the clubhouse and all that. So I think that that's something that we'll see changed for the better.
Xavier Scruggs is our guest here, and we're talking about the Padres hire of Mike Shildt, who played for him. And can you expand a little bit on what you just said? I mean, some examples maybe that come to mind of, you know, the way Mike Shildt deals with personalities, the way he allows people to grow, allows them to, you know, hopefully be their best when they're out on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that I actually talked to Mike today, and this is maybe the perfect example, is him already going and meeting with players and having dinner with players and learning about what makes those players go. And I think him sitting down with different guys, a lot of times you won't hear managers actually sitting down with players in and out of the season, trying to figure out what is it that drives you? What is it that motivates you on a personal level? And I think that's a lot of what he can bring out of a player. And once you start, and another thing from him too is he builds a level of trust that a lot of times you don't have with the manager. And I think that that's a special quality that he has that not a lot of guys have. And I'm not even talking about just play. I'm not even talking about just managers. I'm talking about people in general. So I think there's a level of trust that he builds within guys. And I think it comes through him showing his insecurities, him showing that he's still willing to learn as much as possible within the game. I think him being a part of this organization over the last couple of years and on the player development side and just learning within the organization, that speaks highly to the person that he is as well, taking a step back from a managerial role. So I think you'll see some of those things come more into play in this 2024 season.
Xavier Scruggs joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. You can catch him on ESPN. He's one of the better MLB announcers we have going in the game. And X, let me ask you, because we talked a little bit about the locker room leadership and and the type of individual he is. But what type of temperament are we getting as a manager in between the lines? Because, you know, in my experience dealing with Mike over the last couple of years, he's a very calm individual, but there's something about him that tends to tell me he's got a little snap in him.
he definitely does, and it's almost, it's funny sometimes because you know, he's not a big dude. He's very, you know, on the smaller side. You know, not somebody that looks huge in stature, but there's a calmness to him. But it's funny because he always says, don't mistake my calmness for weakness.
Yeah.
And that's something that he's always kind of preached, but it's true because he can snap extremely quick. If you remember, there were some times with the Cardinals that maybe a small call that kind of disturbs him, he would all of a sudden go extremely red. So I think I'm kind of joking, but at the same time, I think that there's something to that, because he's very smart about how he picks his decisions in protecting his players. And I think that that's something that you'll recognize this throughout the course of this season. And he's going to lean on some of those guys that have some heavy weight in the clubhouse to really help him along the way. And I think, you know, maybe where a Bob Melvin couldn't get to some guys, that may be where Schultz is able to have a little bit more of that influence.
Mike Schultz is the new manager of the Padres. Good hire. Xavier Scruggs, who used to play for him, thinks so. He's joining us here on 97.3 The Fan. I'm not really trying to dig up a whole lot of dirt here, but there are a lot of people that wonder what happened at the very end in St. Louis. I mean, after all, he won 17 games there at the end of that last season. He made the playoffs every year he was there. He was a manager of the year. It was almost like they couldn't wait to get rid of him. He said he's learned from that. And will take steps going forward. I mean, what do you surmise happened there in St. Louis?
Yeah, I have relationships with both John Mozeliak, the president of operations with the St. Louis Cardinals, and Mike Schultz. And I think that there would seem to be a butting of heads over, you know, they said, you heard the word analytical, but I think it was more so personnel. I think there was some guys that really Schultz was fighting for to keep on the roster that maybe some of the people in the front office with the Cardinals didn't necessarily agree with. And maybe they're trying to give opportunities to other players. But I think that speaks to something that I just told you about, is there's a willingness for him to be very adamant for his players. And I think that that's something that should excite the fan base of San Diego, knowing that you have that type of manager coming in. But, you know, that, and you guys know this, there's so many different ways that people butt heads within organizations. And I think Mike said the right thing is he learned from that, and he's going to be able to take that into a next situation. And when we have failures, and this is within any aspect in life, if you want to call it that, we learn from those things, and those things make us better.
X, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about a player that I think we both think very highly of in Juan Soto. I've been on record here that I would hate to see him outside of a Padre uniform, but it does look like things are shaping up that he may very well be moved this offseason. Right now, you're hearing the Yankees name a lot. I think I saw a piece where you were talking about the Yankees as well. What do you think makes that organization the right fit if you're going to move a guy like Juan Soto?
Yeah, I think the Yankees seem like they could be a fit for both sides, right? Because they're looking for that outfielder, obviously. But I also look at, there is some young talent there that the Padres could, you know, be able to maybe hold on to, as far as guys that you could see them not just for this year, but moving forward. And without, you know, if I'm looking at the Yankees, if there's no Jason Dominguez coming back, I may not be trading Juan Soto. I think that would be the first person I'm looking at. But I also look at, you know, some young starters. I look at Clark Schmidt, a guy that could possibly help that rotation there with the Padres. A Michael King, who slid into that role too, who seems to give them some depth now in that rotation. That could be something the Padres could be looking for too. I just look at there's never enough pitching, right? And I think that, you know, most managers will tell you that. And I think as much pitching as the Padres can have going into 2024, that's going to be a huge benefit to them, especially if they're losing the best hitter, one of the best hitters in all of baseball.
Should the Padres be really good next year, in your estimation? I mean, off of this disappointing season, they still have a lot of guys that are coming back.
Yeah.
They're losing stuff in free agency. Don't know if they'll get Blake Snell back. It's probably doubtful. Josh Hader, Michael Wacha, Nick Martinez. I mean, they've let, Seth Lugo. They've lost some pieces,
Right.
but do they still have enough? I mean, the Dodgers are going to be right there, and who knows if they get Ohtani. The Diamondbacks were just in the World Series.
Giants are supposed to be spending a lot of money.
Giants are there. I mean, this is not an easy spot for the Padres necessarily.
It's not, and the reason why it's not, and you know what, I won't discount the offense. I know that they didn't perform the way they should have last year, but when you have names like Xander Bogaerts and Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado and a Ha-Sung Kim, who's now become almost a star within this game, I still look forward to them scoring runs. I think they'll be better than they were last year collectively. Now, the pitching to me is ultimately going to be the deciding factor, right? You have Joe Musgrove. You also have Yu Darvish getting a year older. They're going to have to build more depth within that rotation and also maybe look towards getting another frontline type of guy. I mean, you don't compete with the Dodgers, and now you're looking at the Diamondbacks. Yeah. You don't compete with those teams without making sure you have three guys that can go out there and give you wins and punch tickets and be able to give you an opportunity to stay in game. So if they build more pitching depth and maybe add another frontline guy, I still see them competing at the top of this division.
Last one from me, X. This will be a wild card question. I know you enjoy Shohei Ohtani very much, and he's kind of put the press on teams, basically telling teams, keep my name out of the media should we meet. Who do you like Ohtani ending? Where do you like Ohtani ending up?
Oh man, this is a tough one for me because being from San Diego, I hate. I don't even like seeing Dodger blue, but it just makes so much sense because we saw the Dodgers take a step back from spending right last year. You saw them do some uncharacteristic like things like signing a Noah Syndergaard for rotation depth. So it told you that they were taking a step back and mostly because they're in love with Shohei Ohtani. I think this team, like multiple teams, may be willing to do whatever it takes to add him. And I just see that it's going to be hard to compete with their dollars. Yes, I look at the Mets, but also the Mets seem to be trying to prepare for 2025 and maybe beyond that. So the Dodgers, if they're in that win now mode like they normally are, they're going to be looking to land Shohei Ohtani the game's best.
All right, before we let you go, X, now he went to Poway High School?
A little bit after I did.
You know that my co-host is now in the Poway High School Titan Hall of Fame after he was inducted there about a month ago. What do we have to do to convince the powers to be to get you inducted alongside Tony Gwynn Jr.? Because these guys listen.
He's on his way.
These guys listen to the show, so we got to put your name forth here.
Yeah, I think all the stats and stuff speaks for itself. But I think where Tony got me is he was so athletic in every sport. Like this guy would be basketball over there, then hitting home runs on the baseball field. I remember watching him doing his thing, stealing bases, doing everything. I'm like, man, I want to if I could just do a little bit of what Tony did, then maybe I could call myself maybe a great Poway Titan. So I mean, we go way back. Poway was the spot, and I'm just happy to see everything that you've done and accomplished yourself.
Ditto, X. Ditto, man. You're doing a terrific job. Keep up the good work, man. Appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us, and we'll catch you up on the big screen here soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
One of the budding stars, I think, in Major League Baseball on the broadcast side.
Dropping some good Mike Schilt knowledge.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That's going to do it for today's show. Back at it again tomorrow, Thursday Night Football. So that means a short show. Until then, catch you tomorrow. Peace out.